I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners on, they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustle on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustle on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. I'm sticking to my
Damn Mike, y'all, what's up? Find this bit. We back. Uh, uh. We back. Yo. Alright. Had to get myself together. Damn, bro, it's 11 already, y'all. It is 11 o'clock already. Hope y'all having a phenomenal Tuesday. Wednesday. Week. End of the month. The first is Friday. The first is Friday. Don't forget that. And they say, your boy Sneak dissing your boy. I don't know nothing about it. Let's hear about it. Let's see. Hold up.
Once again, he talking to Drake, man. You know Drake turning 40 this year. He trying to like, yo, he one of them type of nigga gonna give you the bad advice that hopefully you follow. And then when you get unsuccessful, you be like, well, at least you tried. You know, at least you know when people be like, well, at least you did it the right way. Man, if you don't get the out of here, Jay-Z. Jay-Z had a whole career. That nigga said 30's a new 20 when he became 30. The nigga said, I'm young forever. And now that he's 70, he's trying to tell other, nah, y'all got to make music like y'all old now, man. Nah, don't do what I was doing, saying 30 the new 20, young forever. Y'all got to make, y'all got to leave the youth alone. Man, this don't get the fuck out of here. I keep telling y'all, man, Jay-Z the type of, bruh, when he ready to, yo, Jay-Z likes to put a bow on a lot of bull. The guy's 70. Half his life, Jay-Z was like 50 when he was like, yo, I'm young forever. What you mean you young forever? Let's go back and check out the math. Jay-Z, forever young, that's what we be, forever young. 2009, Jay-Z made that shit. The guy's 70. Half his life, Jay-Z was like 50 when he was like, yo, I'm young forever. What you mean you young forever? Let's go back and check out the math. Jay-Z, forever young, that's what we be, forever young. 2009, Jay-Z made that he young forever. Okay? It was a song on the album released in 2010. How old is Jay-Z now?
58.
Jay-Z is 56 in 2026. That means in 2010, which is 16 years ago. 16 years ago, this nigga's 40. Talking about he forever young. 40. I'm forever young. That's who it be forever. Hating that.
He called it though. He called it though. That's some hating ass shit. Nigga been hating this whole career, man. Tupac told you that.
You know why? Hating that nigga. You know why? The other hip hop's top guys now, they're about to be 40. You know what he's trying to tell them? Nah, man. We used to tell him that. You Grandpa Hove now. He ain't want to hear it. Forever young. That's what he's saying. 30's the new 20.
Yeah, he did all that shit, didn't he?
He was on the R. Kelly. That's what Kelly was telling them hoes. You know, Kelly was telling them 16 the new 26. Like, I don't know what Kelly was telling them. Real talk. But he was trying to switch up the age. What you mean 30 the new 20, gang? What you mean by that, gang? 30 new 20? How'd that work? Jay-Z switched up all the rules for him. Now that he's 75, he's trying to tell y'all niggas, act your age. Man, this is crazy, man. I keep telling you about Hove, man. Hove a cold piece of work. Hove cold. When Hove is 40, forever young. Hove is 70, yo, y'all need to act your age.
But just like the Ben 10 situation, Academics is lying, and Academics has chosen a side, and Academics firmly placed his flag on the ground and say, I'm going to rock with Drake and OVO because, according to Academics, before they struck his page, meaning Rock Nation, for posting stuff that they did not, that they paid him to post and all this stuff and everything. If that's your grievance, then 100% take Jay-Z out. But that take right there is based on lies because Jay-Z did exactly what he was telling other people to do. I think you forgot about that. Remember the song Niggas in Paris? Okay. The 444 album that he dropped, that when he was older, that he told other people they should copy, meaning I was successful at this. Y'all can be successful at this because I laid down the pathway. It drew criticism from Boosie to 50 Cent. Y'all want to take a walk down memory lane? Check it out. 50 Cent on Jay-Z's 444 album. That shit was like golf course music. Despite 444 achieving platinum.
Oh, we already know about that shit. We was comparing age. He was comparing when this individual was that age, what they were doing at that age, not goddamn 5, whatever, couple years after that. 7, 8 years after that. When was the 444 album dropped? Right before Corona. That nigga 56 now, he was about 50 then.
The R&B Tour, starring Chris Brown and Usher Raymond, uniting two of R&B's defining hitmakers, Usher Raymond and Chris Brown.
That's that concert everybody talking about.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see.
Yo. Hey, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, man. Hit that bell, man. Hit that hype button. OG, what's going on with this Keion White, Mo3, the one who's in jail and he's up for the murder of Mo3? What is going on with him? Did something happen? Why is he putting out text all of a sudden like he lost his long lost friend? Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, you sent it to me this morning. It sounded like he was making his last testimony.
I sent it to you because they were crazy to me when I seen it. I said, man, OG got to tell me what's up with this.
Sound like he already did.
What did it say, OG? Read it to you. You got it?
I don't have it no more. It went off my... You got to send it back to me. I read it this morning.
Hold on, because I had to send it to you because...
You sent it to me early this morning while I...
It was throwing me out because I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this man talking about? Like, where in the hell... what is his problem? Like,
he wanted his daughter to feel like she didn't want to...
There it is, OG. I mean...
Let's go. Wait, let me see. Yeah.
He looked like he's pretty upset about it, about something. I can't read through the what he really feel, you know, like
it says Mo3's alleged killer says everyone he was loyal to has left and hopes he can be forgiven for what he's about to do. Everybody I was loyal to, I've done left it. It hurts deep inside, and I finally realized what's love wouldn't bring. Why love won't bring me pain. And the last time this is the last time anybody will hear from me on Instagram. It's only so much I can take. I just want my daughter, my family, and the ones I love to forgive me for what I'm about to do. So I think he hung himself.
No, he's still alive.
Well, he's still alive and wrote a death letter for him.
I think he's talking about that trial that's coming up with Yella and all these people that's getting ready to go to trial.
You're not going to hear from me no more on Instagram. What the hell are you in prison doing on Instagram?
That's what I said, OG. I said, what does he got? Where he get that phone at? What he got going?
Where you get an Instagram page from?
I didn't even know he was on Instagram. That's what I'm saying. This stuff gets weird, but I did know he did a couple of interviews from inside the jail. You know,
Wait a minute. You know, with all this AI generation and stuff, I think this is this him at the bottom and Mo3 at the top?
Yes, that's him.
So this is animated $100 bills. So I don't even think he wrote this.
I don't know because it's been going everywhere. People have been talking about it. But you're right. How is he just? I mean, he hadn't died. He didn't delete himself. So I mean, is this something we supposed to be trying?
No, it's not. Man, that's y'all supposed to be doing. We're talking about it like y'all doing right now. Talking about it. Shit. Yep. Something happened to him. It'll be news about it. That damn show ain't supposed to be on that motherfucking on that shit anyway. They gonna put your ass in the hole for that. Actually, yeah. You gonna goddamn, yeah. Yeah.
without him. This is his third game he's missing in this series, and this will be their first win. Good to just see everybody into.
He look regular to me, man. How he just chilling. Talking with the man because he laughing, having a good time. Because he laughing and shit. He got it. Yeah. Man, shut up. Man, when is the game, man? When is the game? I don't even think KD is playing against LeBron. I don't think KD wanted to see the Jameses. I don't think KD wanted to see the James family. When is game 5? The Lakers.
Several Game 5 matchups for the first round of the NBA and NHL playoffs are scheduled for tomorrow, April 29th, 2026. NBA playoffs, April 29th. Orlando Magic versus Detroit Pistons, 7 p.m. Toronto Raptors versus Cleveland Cavaliers, 7:30 p.m. Houston Rockets versus Los Angeles Lakers, 10 p.m. NHL playoffs, April 29th. Montreal Canadiens versus Tampa Bay Lightning, 7 p.m. Pittsburgh Penguins versus Philadelphia Flyers, 7:30 p.m. Utah Mammoth versus Vegas Golden Knights, 10 p.m.
I need to get on my goddamn shit. Put a couple picks in. Bounce back right quick. Put me a couple picks in. Playoff picks. What's up? What y'all playoff picks is? Oh, what y'all playoff picks is, man. Game 5 tomorrow, man. A whole bunch of game 5s tomorrow.
Very good recommendation. That's what you can confirm. I already know what's I already know. I either go with 1103 or I get screwed at the 1500. So I'm in a win-lose situation. It just makes zero sense to me how somebody can sit at home and do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. Dress my kids like slobs. Make them. It's horrible, man. Right, Mr. Grace. Okay, Mr. Grace, what we'll do. Let's give it. I'm going to do minimum wage to her. And we'll add a childcare cost. Mr. France says about $800 at the average. And, we'll keep it at 1,500. Mr. Grace, you want to keep arguing about this? Because if you want, I guarantee you that.
Brian then keeps going, saying that the children are dressed poorly and that the whole situation is terrible. At that point, the judge cuts him off and says that if he wants to keep arguing, the court can impute minimum wage to the mother and add child care and keep the support at $1,500. The judge asks him directly whether he wants to keep arguing about it, because if he does, it is going to go up, and the judge says he can guarantee that. Brian responds that, like he said, He is not going to win, so it is what it is. The judge says Brian can still speak to a lawyer if he wants to confirm whether the figures are right, but in the court's view, this is a reasonable and appropriate amount of child support. The judge then states that the court is adopting the recommendation and that will conclude the hearing. The judge also says that if Brian's income drops in the future, he can always file a motion to modify and reduce his support obligation. Right at the end, Brian says that honestly he would be better off quitting his job and working under the table like other deadbeat dads.
I make $840 a week.
You looking at these little Chinese toys, folks? How old you is? How old I look, nigga? Nigga, too old to be looking at these little toys that you something, nigga. That's the second time you done call me. Nigga, what you mean? How old you, nigga? When I call you that, bro, my bag back. You go. You looking at these little Chinese toys, folks? How old you is? How old I look, nigga? Nigga, too old to be looking at these little toys that you something, nigga. That's the second time you done call me. Nigga, what you mean? How old you, nigga? When I call you that, bro, my bag back. You go. You looking at these little Chinese toys, folks? How old you is? How old I look, nigga? Nigga, too old to be looking at these little toys that you something, nigga. That's the second time you done call me. Nigga, what you mean? How old you, nigga? When I call you that, bro, my bag back. You go. You looking at these little Chinese toys, folks? How old you is? How old I look, nigga? Nigga, too old to be looking at these little toys that you something, nigga. That's the second time you done call me. Nigga, what you mean? How old you, nigga? When I call you that, bro, my bag back. You go. You looking at these little Chinese toys, folks?
No, I don't like it. Doechii on Wu-Tang beat. I fuck with Doechii. She from the crib. You know, we got us. You know how it is at the crib. She nice though. She got her moments and shit. Oh, where was I? I was lost in the sauce. But I'm back now. All right. I need to eat more grapes. Whoa, All-Star JR facing 15. Ben 10, OG3 allegedly snitching. Oh. Man, he ain't gonna do nothing at 15. He finna beat that case. He was in Texas on Everything I Love. He whooping that case. He ain't doing no 15. He might be facing that. He was in Louisiana. Louisiana, fuck a nigga over. But in Texas, the way that footage, all this shit.
Yo, I just typed that in and it made the whole track? Nah, this wild.
Yeah, Erica, they also say he made music videos referencing the shooting just days after it happened here. And tonight we're learning more about what federal investigators say happened that night. Jeremy Ford, better known as Michigan rapper All-Star JR, is now in custody. He picked up a federal charge in connection to the shooting at the restaurant Confessions on April 8th. The U.S. Attorney's Office charged the 36-year-old rapper with unlawful possession of a weapon as a convicted felon. The complaint says he was prohibited from having a gun following a 2014 home invasion conviction. Court documents detail more about what happened the night 3 people were shot at Confessions, saying it could have started as an attempt to take the rapper's chain. Court documents say it turned physical and a gun failed. Ford allegedly picked it up and began shooting as people ran to an elevator for their lives.
The individual, again, that was being robbed or assaulted, and I guess we would consider it a robbery as physically as they were being with this guy. Once he finally presented the weapon and started shooting, he fled on foot, and we don't know where he went from that time.
Surveillance video in the indictment show the man investigators identified as Ford firing the gun, and at one point turning toward one of the men lying on the ground, shooting them as they laid motionless. Another surveillance photo shows him allegedly trying to wipe and leave the gun on the hostess stand at the restaurant. Since the shooting, investigators say the rapper traveled back to Michigan, where he posted videos on social media and released a music video that, according to the indictment, referenced the restaurant and the shooting itself.
You should know, HBD on Instagram post was beautiful. I ain't the one, that's why your lick turned to a murder.
2 people were injured in the shooting, and the indictment says one of the victims lost sensation in his legs because of one of the injuries. A second victim allegedly lost his right index finger. Records say the third person shot had minor injuries and wasn't part of the confrontation. I visited Confessions and spoke with the owner about the arrest. In the statement, he says they're thankful for the work law enforcement has done, adding they've taken additional steps to ensure safety measures since the shooting. And again, these federal charges are just for the weapons charge. I did reach out to the Harris County District Attorney to see if any more local charges could be coming down related to the shooting. I'm still working to hear back on that. And Ford, he is due back in court on Monday. And if convicted on that federal weapons charge, it could face up to 15 years in prison. I'm live in Upper Kirby tonight. Tony Atkins, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Y'all know what this Ben 10 situation? I've been giving y'all facts and internet opinion. Today, we got both. All-Star JR facing 15 years in prison. Ben 10 allegedly told the police everything and may need money for a lawyer. Blog sites posting documents saying they seal and they not. Make sure y'all smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Music 101, the Street Report, and I'm back with another video. Let's get into it. As you seen in the news clip, All-Star JR wiped his fingerprints off the gun, then fled to Detroit. Why? Because he know as a felon, you don't have no rights to protect yourself with a gun. You can look up any case with a felon protecting themselves with a firearm, and you will see they may have beat the shooting, but they all went to jail for the gun. I don't care what city, what state, what planet. They rather you pick up a pistol before you pick up a gun to protect yourself. You have no rights to protect yourself with a gun as a felon. Please, let's educate ourselves with the law, because I see a lot of people going to jail for what y'all think is right other than what's law. Also, blog sites posting the complaint. We already seen it, and they saying that the documents is sealed. That's not true. After talking to Mickey Truth, the queen of paperwork, she explained that the paperwork is sealed first and then exposed to the public. If it was sealed, you wouldn't be able to see nothing, let alone the first page of this complaint. Now, let me explain it again. Before the complaint became public records, it was sealed and then released to the public. So that's why I have that sealed stamp on it, because at one point it was. See, people is under the impression that since All-Star JR been arrested, it's another complaint going around and that document is sealed. Nah, that's not the case. This complaint right here is the same complaint that we have seen since day one, and we know for a fact it's not sealed. Another thing I want to address, Ben 10 allegedly spoke with detectives and explained what really went down, according to City Nat.
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Let me say this emphatically, and let me put it this way. If this is true, let me say it a second time. If this is true, boy, all that gangster talk, all that you ain't saying nothing to the police stuff and everything, bruh, this right here is going to be crazy. Now, to protect certain people, all I'm going to say is last week, Ben 10 got interviewed by 2 detectives, one white one Hispanic.
I know you're the boss, man. I know you own Magnolia. You got your people.
So when y'all see whichever one of these detectives pop out, bro, it's all bad. What I mean when I say it's all bad, all the rumors about the feds and all this shit and everything, yeah, that's true. But HPD got their detectives that just talked to Ben 10. So what happened, OG3 and Ben 10 talked to the detectives. What happened was, and this is all, I'm putting out all alleged, but I'm fairly certain this shit is 100% true. But sometimes cats do. So I know y'all gonna be like, oh no, so it is. I get it. But the rumor is this. They planned it on some fake family pull-up event, meaning OG3 and them. They said that, what's his name? James Prince Jr. was sitting there essentially across the street. I was there for like 20 minutes and got these dummies to take a party or whatever and come up over there.
Yeah, you know this.
To the little restaurant or whatever the hell. And then when they came in to celebrate, because mind you, with the report, a report says, I can't verify this report, but there's a report that says, hey, bro, James Prince Jr. and them got there at 11:32. The kitchen closes at 11. So y'all came up there talking about you about to come celebrate, you was about to say hi and all that shit. No, he wasn't, bro. Somebody who works in there that's a bartender knew their little situation or whatever, mind you, putting on this SLH, and basically dropped Buddy Low to James Prince Jr. James Prince Jr. called up all these cats. This is what is being said that OG3 and Ben 10 are telling the detectives.
I don't know how to feel about this. Just because this not Ben 10 first rodeo. Last time he got shot, his homie died. He stayed solid.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
And say nothing. Also, for him to explain and tell what others' involvement was, he got to explain and tell his involvement. And if he did, it's 100% chance that Ben 10 will be arrested or charged. And he's neither. Now, I do want to be fair. A lot of people is wondering, well, why Ben 10 is not charged? Just because he's not charged now, don't mean he won't be charged in the future. And also, just because All-Star JR is only charged with felony and possession of a firearm, doesn't mean he won't be charged with attempted murder later. Like I said in my last video, even the feds highlighted it in the paperwork. All-Star JR started off as self-defense when he was shooting at Ben 10 and others. But he left, came back and started shooting at people, then walked over to Ben 10 while he was on the ground and started shooting at Ben 10 some more until the gun went empty. That's not self-defense. And I seen people in the comments saying, oh, he was in shock. He got PTSD. Listen, they don't care about none of that shit. Like I keep telling y'all, it's not about what you think is right. It's about the law. That's the only thing that matters in court. Once a threat become neutralized, once a threat is no longer a threat, meaning running away or shot on the ground and not moving, it's no longer self-defense. Mark my words. And I'm gonna say this for the second time. Like I said in my last video, I don't wish jail on nobody, and I don't wish that All-Star JR get any more charges. But the feds didn't highlight that he left and came back shooting for no reason. By law, you can't do that. By law. So don't be surprised if All-Star JR get hit with attempted murder. But y'all get in the comments and tell me what y'all think, man. And if you enjoying the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on all post notifications. It's free. Do it for me. Promo alert. Today is your boy King David. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, comment, and let him know I sent you. He just dropped a new banger, and it's called Get Back. Make sure y'all go check it out.
Man, that shit had 57 views. You should see how many views he got now. It had 57 when he posted that video. How long ago was that video posted?
Yeah, Erica, they also say he made music videos referencing the shooting just days after it happened here. And tonight we're learning more about what federal investigators...
4,000. I think he got about 100 more plays on that shit. Shit. Excuse me. God
A
damn.
20-year-old was arrested Monday and faces 3 counts of aggravated assault. A 20-year-old was arrested Monday and faces 3 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm after a shooting that occurred inside a Taco Bell on 45th Street in West Palm Beach. According to the arrest report, the confrontation began before noon on Monday when 3 customers entered the Taco Bell. 2 of them approached the counter and asked Damari Patterson, an employee, for water. The interaction quickly turned confrontational when Patterson noticed the customers filling their water cups with soda from the fountain machine, according to the police report. A verbal argument erupted, with Patterson repeatedly shouting, "Do something," at the customers, the affidavit states. Another employee inside the restaurant told police he then heard the sound of a firearm being racked. Patterson fired 1 shot, striking one of the victims. As the 3 customers fled toward the exit, Patterson pursued them and fired a second inside the restaurant being racked. Patterson fired 1
I
shot,
ain't see he had the
striking
fire in his
one of the
hand when he
victims.
slapped that bitch.
As the 3
I just thought he
customers
slapped the
fled toward
bitch.
the exit, Patterson pursued them and fired a second round. The bullet narrowly missed another victim but shattered a restaurant window. All 3 victims drove themselves to JFK North Medical Center, where they were
If he was
treated
gonna
for
slap the
minor
bitch, why he
injuries.
racked it?
They later provided sworn statements to police detailing the incident.
Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. This shit say staff of the Rankin County Jail in Mississippi testing their electric vest on a Mr. Larry Buckhalter, who is an inmate with an intellectual disability. You know what the fuck that mean? That mean he has an intellectual disability, meaning he's not even able to comprehend some shit that they would have an inmate sign on their own behalf to consent to some shit like this. Man, look.
And I volunteered. These stepbrothers are charged with raping a woman.
These stepbrothers,
I got 10.
these stepbrothers are charged with raping a woman on a Carnival cruise ship after tricking her and switching places while she thought she was sleeping with only one of them. This is 26-year-old Sejan Reedus, and this is 28-year-old Antoine Flowers. Them and this 25-year-old unidentified woman were all on this Carnival cruise ship to the Bahamas. Everything got a little boozy, everybody started having a little fun in a common area, and the 25-year-old woman consented to following Sejan back to his room for some intimate time. They had said intimate time, but then when she turned on the lights, she was absolutely shocked to find that Antoine was actually in the bed with her, and that is who she had just had her intimate time with. Now, investigators believe that Sejan made an excuse to leave the dark room before his stepbrother Antoine had slipped inside to take his place. When they got to the Bahamas, the Royal Bahamas Police did board the ship and arrested both of the men. Both of them are from Michigan, and they both appeared in court this last Monday for one charge of rape each. All of this comes just 6 weeks after Anna Kepner's body was found stuffed under a bed on a Carnival cruise ship. So Carnival is under fire right now for safety. These stepbrothers are charged with raping a woman on a Carnival cruise ship after.
I got 10 bands right now. What should I do with it? Most successful vehicle. Why? You want to fight? Why are you getting so close to me?
That shit wild, bro. That shit crazy as fuck. Fuck niggas everywhere. Stay away from everybody. I just want to keep my people. I just want a secluded piece of land, about a good 80, 100 acres. Do that shit with it how I want to. Me, my motherfucking people, me, my daughter, my motherfucking mom and my daddy, bitch, I don't gotta fuck with nobody else. That's my dog. My dog. Fuck that. Shit crazy about her, man. Oh no.
Are you still searching for a prop firm that puts traders first? Then you should be with Atlas Funded. We're not just another name in the industry. We're here to change the way traders get funded. And the proof is
everybody's looking at the NVIDIAs and the AMDs, and they're missing a critical component when it comes to AI. Now, hear me out for a second. I'm not talking about energy. We know AI needs that. I'm not talking about coolant. We know AI needs that. And I'm not talking about the chips. We know AI needs that. Those are going to be on the front pages. But it's the thing underneath all of those. So all of those need one component to operate. And nobody talks about it, and they don't get the headlines. But all of these companies I'm going to talk about today, which are three, are outperforming the market and the ETF as well. So before we get into it, man, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and share this with somebody. Help us get this video to 2,000 likes, y'all. I promise you, this is going to be one of the ones that's going to change your perspective on this whole AI game. Let's go. I get it. Everybody's talking about NVIDIA, and AMD, and Micron, and the data centers, but nobody's talking about what those things depend on. Now, before I get into that, I want to walk back for a second and make us think about something. During the dot-com bubble, everybody thought about internet, and then they thought about websites, right? But nobody thought about the fiber optics that were needed, and that's where the money was. Think about the gold rush. Everybody focused on gold, and nobody focused on the picks and shovels. That's where the money was. Well, here we are again with AI. And everybody's focusing on data centers. Everybody's focusing on chip design. Everybody's focusing on energy, but nobody is focusing on copper. That's right. Nobody is focusing on copper. That's the infrastructure that's needed for AI. Because AI doesn't just run on chips alone. Every server needs this copper. Every data center needs the copper. Every power system needs the copper. Every cooling system needs the copper. Every chip needs the copper. And every cable that's running through that needs the copper. And so before we get into the first company I want to talk about, I want to give you a situation that you understand. Now, copper is needed. But Right now, we're in what's called a structural deficit. We're short about 330 tons of copper. That's right, y'all. 330 tons of copper, which means it now becomes sacred almost. If you believe in AI, you got to believe in copper. And so why wouldn't you partner with it? Because copper isn't something you can just find, right? It isn't something you just produce. And so it takes years to discover, it takes years to permit, and it takes years to build. You can take anywhere between 7 to 15 years to even get that build out going. And we know that AI is right now. Copper is slow. AI demand is fast. And so it needs to be taken care of right now. Now, let's talk about how it's positioned with the Strait of Hormuz. Think about this for a second. 33% of sulfur comes from the Middle East. The Middle East is now being shut down because the Strait of Hormuz is being blocked off. Well, why does that make sense? Well, sulfur is used for 2 reasons. Number one, you get what's called sulfuric acid, and that's used for silicone wafer cleaning. Now, the silicone wafer cleaning is essentially what's needed to clean out the silicone. Just clean out the wafer before the chips are put in. They use the sulfuric acid, and they use what's called hydrogen peroxide to get a really, really good clean, because that has to be a great space for the chips to go in. The second reason for the sulfuric acid is because you use that to get copper. Well, what happens is miners take the copper rocks, stack them on top of each other. Once they stack them on top of each other, they spray with the sulfuric acid. Once they spray with the sulfuric acid, the rocks, then you can see the copper come out of it. Then the copper goes into the solution. Solution then comes together. Then that whole process takes place. So let me go back a little bit further with that. The next thing that happens is from there, now you have all of the companies who are producing chips. They need copper, which is coming from Taiwan. Taiwan produces about 90% of all chips. Well, Taiwan uses the Strait of Hormuz as well. Well, if they can't get sulfur, then how can they get the copper? Well, let's go a little further with that so we can tie all those things in. Before I get to the 3 companies I want to talk about, there's another thing called helium that's tied into this. And so the helium is also, you get another 30% of that helium from where? The Middle East as well. So now you have a lot of things that's jammed up in this Middle East, and the only thing people are talking about right now is oil. Now, let's go a little further. If you have a sulfur shortage, you then have a copper shortage, but then also you have a helium shortage, so then you can have a chip shortage. Now, in case you think I'm saying that it's not going to be produced at all, that's not what I'm saying, because the data shows that China produces about 19 million tons of sulfur. The United States only produces about 8 tons of sulfur, and then Canada produces about 5, and everything else is coming from the Middle East. You also have Russia in there as well, but the Middle East becomes the major player. Now, why that gets more intense is because these companies the demand for AI is so strong, and you can't produce any of the AI without the copper. So now I want to get into the 3 companies that's going to be strategic and important for you to look at, because if you like AI and if you believe in AI, you got to also say, I want to buy copper as well. Copper should be a part of your portfolio. Now, the first company I want us to look at is Freeport-McMoRan. Ticker symbol FCX. And the reason why I want us to look at that, because they are the largest player in the copper space. Now, they control what's called the Grasberg mine in Indonesia, one of the largest copper and gold deposits in the world. But they also have major operations in Arizona, which is in the US, Peru, and Chile. This matters because they aren't just focused on one region. They actually focus on global supply, and that's what puts them in the top tier. I want you to think about that for another reason, because they are the big dog. And so when we focus on the big dog, we understand how the game can be played. Like I always say, leaders lead. Now, the company is up 17.7% year to date, which means they've been dominant just through the first quarter of the year. What do you think happens as you see more chip companies start to flare up, more memory starts to go, because memory needs copper as well? The more we see memory and the more we see AI demand push forward, we're going to see companies like Freeport-McMoRan steadily gain great momentum. Now, it won't be a high flyer, right? But it'll definitely, because it's a need, it's definitely going to perform really well, and it definitely can have a place inside of your portfolio. Next on the list is none other than Southern Copper. That's right. Ticker symbol SCCO. Now, the reason why they're second on my list, because I consider them like the Walmart of copper, right? This is where it kind of gets crazy. Now, they have what's called low cost dominance, meaning they are one of the lowest cost producers globally of copper, and they have reserves in Peru and Mexico, and they can stay profitable even when other companies get wiped out. Right? Again, we're in what's called a structural deficit, where copper supply is slow. But even producers globally of copper, and they have reserves in Peru and Mexico, and they can stay profitable even when other companies get wiped out. Right? Again, we're in what's called a structural deficit, where copper supply is slow, and you don't just create copper tomorrow. It takes years to discover it. You need years for permit and years for the build out. Well, while companies are trying to develop that, you have companies like Southern Copper that can say, hey, we're not as high as Freeport-McMoRan, but we can give you what you need in a timely manner. Now, let's stop for a second and think about this. Chile, which is one of the world's largest sulfuric acid suppliers, are actually saying they're going to have a shortage, right? And think about this. China's sulfuric acid supply from them fell by 17%. Think about this. Why would it fall by 17% in a time like this when it's at an all-time high? Because things are getting jammed up. And the more demand goes, now you're going to see some other places and some other components really spike up. And when these shortages happen, what that means? Supply and demand, right? So that you're going to see these copper prices go up. And as these copper prices go up, you should pay attention to these companies. So when you're looking at the stock market, I want you to look at gold for sure, silver for sure, and I want you to look at copper. This is something we looked at in my Patreon for a while. Pay attention to copper. It is essential for this AI demand, y'all. I promise y'all. Now, the third company I want you to look at is Tech Resources, ticker symbol TECK. Now, this company here has been kind of like a copper growth story. I know that's kind of hard to say. Copper and growth don't even go in the same system, but it does. Well, this company is actually making a strategic pivot, and it's pivoting because it understands the importance of this copper play. Now, the company is up 22% year to date because the market is rewarding them for where they're going at. At one time, they was solely focused on coal, right? And then they made a pivot, kind of like Intel. Intel made a pivot when they fired the CEO, brought in a new CEO, and now we see what's happening with that stock. Same thing with this company, ticker TECK. It made a pivot. It made some structural changes, paid down a lot of debt, and then wound up getting a lot of contracts for its copper because it pivoted to what's going on in today. So you got Freeport-McMoRan, you got Southern Copper, and you got Tech Resources. These are essential for somebody looking to play the copper play. Now, these won't be over the headlines all day, every day. Nope. It's going to be low performing. They're going to be low headline, high performing companies that's going to dominate the S&P 500. And so these are some of the stocks I said we can sleep well at night on. And now I want to take you to the ETF that I want you to look at. Ticker symbol COPX. This is the copper minus ETF. Now, year to date, this stock is up 11.82%, which is really, really good. Now, 96% of it is in basic materials. Another 3.64% of this fund is inside of industrials. Let's look at the top 10 stocks it holds. Luden Mining, Freeport-McMoRan makes up 5%, BHP Corp make up 4%, Tech Resources make up 4.282%, Southern Copper makes up 4.88%. And I'm saying this because the same companies that we tell you to look at, that I'm talking to you about, are inside of this ETF. Now, the reason why I also think this is good because watch this. This year is up 11%. Last year it was up 108%. This tells you that anytime an ETF is up big like that in a year, that tells you that there is money to be made. And I don't want us to miss this moment. I'm not gonna keep you long. I just want you to understand that the obvious is the NVIDIA, the AVGO, the AMDs. They're obvious plays, and I get it. We got to hold those. But here's some sneaky plays that you can position in your portfolio and just sit back and relax and watch the money roll. It's your boy, Wall Street Trapper, man. I hope I give you a lot of value in this video, man. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and tell us in the chat which one you like the most. Salute.
I just created a $47 ebook in 3 minutes flat using AI. Time me while I do it again. Already in Designer, interface is loading. Watch how fast this is. Clicking Word Genie. No delays, no complexity. Just
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, y'all. We got a quick, brief. This is called a heavy, real heavy, big heavy. This is a big heavy reminder, y'all. Before y'all go pick up them guns, before y'all go slide, before y'all go ride, before y'all go step, please understand, in the courtrooms, they're giving out 170 years, bro. I promise you they is. I already got it. How much time you got, bro? 87. How much time you got? 55. 55, 87, and 170, all right here. That's 312 years. So like I'm telling y'all, before y'all go slide and listen to the music, pick up the gun, go let off a switch, please remember.
This nigga the zookeeper or a nigga just in here. He didn't see the bear. Nigga said, oh shit.
That's some real shit right there.
You think you know LeBron James. 4 championships, legend status, and a media empire worth $750 million. But while you've been watching the highlights, LeBron's been quietly demolishing a $37 million Beverly Hills mansion just to build something bigger from scratch. But how deep does this venture go? Let's get into it. The most watched man nobody's actually seen. Here's the thing about LeBron James that nobody talks about. He might be the most scrutinized athlete in the history of professional sports, Every game, every contract, every tweet, every hairline joke. And somehow, through all of it, most people still have no idea what he's actually built. Because there's LeBron the basketball player, and then there's LeBron the machine. And the machine operates on a completely different frequency than anything happening on a basketball court. While you've been debating the Jordan comparison for the 1000th time, LeBron's been structuring equity deals, acquiring Hilltop land in Beverly Hills, building a media company that produces content for Netflix and HBO, and engineering a family compound so sophisticated that architects have a specific term for what he's doing. They call it dynasty infrastructure. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The Beverly Hills project alone, we're talking a 2.5-acre hilltop fortress with a 16,000 square foot primary mansion, a separate, fully autonomous second mansion built specifically for his son Bronny, a 69-foot infinity pool with the LA skyline as its backdrop, and an underground garage covering 7,700 square feet that's larger than most luxury apartment buildings in Manhattan.
There's another way. Discover another Hendrix.
Let's face it, most of us aren't going to set foot on Mars.
I'm on Mars! It's freezing. I'm going to go back.
Manhattan. All of it designed from the ground up, on land he bought for $36.75 million and then immediately demolished. But the Beverly Hills compound is just where he sleeps. The real story is how a kid from Akron, Ohio turned a basketball contract into a $1.2 billion empire that spans sports ownership, media production, real estate across 4 cities, and a school that's changing the trajectory of an entire community. And the most fascinating part? Almost every major move he made was one that the people around him told him was unnecessary. He didn't need the equity stake. He didn't need to build a media company. He didn't need to demolish a perfectly good $37 million mansion. He just kept seeing further down the road than everyone else in the room. So let's actually walk through what he built. Starting from the very beginning, before Beverly Hills, before the billions, before any of this made sense to anyone except him. Before LeBron James became LeBron James. LeBron James was 18 years old when he signed his first Nike contract in 2003. And instead of doing what most 18-year-olds with sudden access to life-changing money do, he bought a $2.1 million estate in Akron, Ohio. His hometown. The city that raised him in circumstance that could have broken him entirely. Now watch what he does next, because this is where the story actually starts. He doesn't just buy the house and move in. Over the next 2 decades, he methodically expands that Akron property into a 30,000 square foot compound. 30,000 square feet in Akron. With a bowling alley, a recording studio, a barbershop, and a 2-story master closet. He turned a $2.1 million purchase into an asset now estimated at $10 million. And that number doesn't even account for the custom improvements he stacked into it year after year. That's not a teenager spending money. That's a teenager learning how real estate compounds value. And practicing on home turf before taking the lesson, global. Then comes Miami. 2010, LeBron makes the decision, joins the Heat, and buys a waterfront mansion in Coconut Grove for $9 million. 6 bedrooms, private dock, space for 2 60-foot yachts sitting right outside the back door like they're parked at a marina. 4 years later, when he heads back to Cleveland, he sells that Miami property for $13.4 million. That's a clean $4.4 million profit on a house he actually lived in, while simultaneously winning championships and becoming the most polarizing athlete on the planet. Most people were still processing their feelings about the decision. LeBron was calculating appreciation rates on South Florida waterfront real estate. Here's where the real chess move happens, though. In 2015, while he's still under contract with Cleveland, still an Ohio Cavalier on paper, he drops $21 million on a white brick colonial mansion in Brentwood, Los Angeles. 9,400 square feet, professional home gym, pool with lap lanes, 6 bedrooms. On the other side of the country from where he works. That's not a vacation home. That's a man quietly announcing, 2 years before he officially makes the move, that his future is in California. He just hadn't told the press yet. 2 years after that, he upgrades within Brentwood. Another mansion, $23 million this time, nearly 16,000 square feet, a library, a service kitchen for private chefs, a 10-car auto gallery, and a rooftop terrace with sweeping city views that plants a very specific question in his mind. If this is what Brentwood looks like, what does the top of Beverly Hills feel like? That question cost him $36.75 million to answer. And the answer was, it's not good enough. Let's tear it down. The demolition decision, $37 million and a wrecking ball. Let me put you in the room for the most expensive decision LeBron James has made outside of a basketball contract. It's 2020. Global pandemic. Markets in chaos, people scared to renew a lease, and LeBron James is spending $36.75 million on a Beverly Hills hilltop estate that used to belong to William and Lee Phillip Bell, the creators of The Young and the Restless. A historic 1930s property with genuine Hollywood pedigree, sitting on one of the most coveted parcels in the 90210 zip code. Cultural history, old money prestige, architecture with actual character baked into every wall. And LeBron looked at all of that and said, demolish it. Not renovate. Not preserve. Not even sell it to someone who'd appreciate the history. Completely tear it down to bare earth and start over. Now understand what that move communicates about how this man thinks. Most wealthy people buy prestigious property and protect the prestige. They renovate carefully. They keep the bones. They brag about the provenance at dinner parties. Owning something historic is the flex. LeBron looked at 2.5 acres on a hilltop in the most exclusive zip code in Los Angeles and decided the only legacy worth preserving on that land was the one he was about to build himself. He brought in Walker Workshop, an architectural firm that operates in what the industry calls stealth luxury, buildings that are nearly invisible from the street but completely breathtaking from inside. The whole design philosophy centers on what you might call reverse privacy. Total visibility of everything around you. Total invisibility from everyone outside. You can see the entire city. The city cannot see you. For the first active NBA billionaire navigating life in a social media era where paparazzi have drones and gossip cycles in 24-hour rotations, that's not an aesthetic preference. That's a survival requirement built into the architecture. And then he did the thing that really tells you this isn't just about a home. He subdivided the lot into 2 separate parcels and commissioned 2 completely distinct mansions, a primary residence and a second, fully autonomous estate on the same compound, behind the same security perimeter, sharing the same infrastructure. The second mansion is for Bronny, his son, now himself an NBA player and a brand in active development. Most parents set up a college fund, but LeBron commissioned his son a private mansion inside a fortified compound so Bronny can launch his own career with all the infrastructure of his father's empire already surrounding him like a force field. Architects call that configuration proximal independence. Close enough to be protected, separate enough to grow. In the James family vocabulary, it has a simpler name: dynasty planning. Inside the fortress, room by room. All right, now is the time to actually walk this property, because the numbers are one thing and the insider reality is something else entirely. You come up the driveway and the first thing you notice is what you don't see. No giant gates with initials embossed in gold. No fountains shaped like trophies. The property doesn't announce itself. It withholds. And that restraint is more intimidating than any ostentatious display could ever be. Walker Workshop designed this thing to feel inevitable rather than impressive, and that distinction matters. The main house sits at approximately 16,000 square feet across 2 stories, wrapped almost entirely in massive glass walls that frame unobstructed panoramic views of the Los Angeles skyline on one side and the Pacific Ocean on the other. You wake up in the morning and the whole city is your screensaver. On clear days, the ocean catches the light from a distance and glitters like it's performing specifically for whoever's standing in that living room. Now go underground. The basement garage covers 7,702 square feet. Climate-controlled, professionally lit, engineered for the long-term preservation of a vehicle collection we'll get into shortly. 7,700 square feet underground. Just for cars. That's bigger than a full floor of most luxury apartment buildings, buried beneath a Beverly Hills hillside, invisible to the entire world except LeBron and whoever he decides to invite down there. Back above ground, the primary pool is 69 feet long by 26 feet wide, infinity edge, positioned so the water visually drops directly into the city skyline below.
Ooh, is that a JetBlue Plus card?
Honey, the milk's talking.
If you buy me with your card, you'll earn 2 times points at eligible grocery stores and get close.
At night, with LA's lights spread out in every direction, that pool looks like someone cut a hole in the sky and filled it with water. Inside, the plans include a home theater built for serious viewing. Not a sectional couch and a big screen, but a purpose-built cinematic room. An indoor basketball court tailored to LeBron's personal training specs, because even in retirement, the body is a machine that needs maintenance. A full spa and recovery suite. And a 1,500-bottle wine cellar that does double duty as the world's most elegant closing room for business meetings that need a certain atmosphere to land properly. The roof carries an extensive solar array, powering the entire property sustainably. LeBron's not just thinking about luxury, he's thinking about infrastructure longevity. The perimeter runs a full 10-foot fence with a dedicated guardhouse. The kind of security that doesn't perform itself, it just quietly handles everything. Now the second mansion, Bronny's house, 6,650 square feet of single-story modern architecture with its own subterranean level, housing a private movie theater and a dedicated social entertainment space. On the outdoor terrace, hot and cold plunge pools, because wellness isn't optional in the James compound. It's literally built into the floor plan. The 2 homes share a central motor court with a prominent water feature, but the landscaping between them creates enough visual separation that each residence feels entirely independent. When the full project is completed, conservative estimates put the total value of this Beverly Hills compound at over $100 million. He paid $36.75 million for raw land 6 years ago. That's not real estate. That's a masterclass in what happens when vision, capital, and patience operate in the same person at the same time. The portfolio: 4 cities, 1 strategy. Beverly Hills gets the headlines. But here's what most people miss. Beverly Hills is the centerpiece of a real estate portfolio that LeBron has been engineering across 4 cities for over 2 decades, each property serving a different function in a larger strategic architecture. Akron is the foundation. That original $2.1 million purchase has grown into a 30,000 square foot compound, estimated at $10 million now, and it serves a purpose no other property in the portfolio can serve. It's where LeBron stays rooted. It's where the I Promise school is. It's the physical anchor to the identity that made everything else possible. The kid who came from nothing and never pretended he didn't. Miami was the lesson. Buy waterfront. Hold it 4 years. Sell it for $13.4 million on a $9 million buy-in. Take the $4.4 million profit. Learn that coastal real estate appreciates aggressively. Apply that knowledge to the next acquisition. Clean, efficient, no sentimentality. Brentwood is the transition. That second mansion, 15,846 square feet, still in the portfolio, estimated between $25 and $30 million now, represents the bridge between arriving in LA as a basketball player and planting permanent roots there as something much larger. And then there's the first Brentwood property, the $21 million colonial he sold in 2021 for $19.6 million. Some people flagged that as a rare loss, a $1.4 million dip on the purchase price. But pull the camera back. He sold a non-core asset to concentrate capital on the Beverly Hills demolition rebuild, effectively trading a $21 million house for a stake in a $100 million compound. You don't call that a loss. You call that a trade-up that most people couldn't even conceive of. Put it all together, and LeBron's real estate holdings sit comfortably above $100 million in total value. And here's the wildest part. Real estate is basically where he parks his family. The actual wealth engine runs somewhere else entirely. The billion-dollar moves. How you build an empire nobody sees coming. This is the chapter that separates LeBron's financial story from every single athlete who came before him. Because the mansions are extraordinary, but what funded the mansions is operating on a completely different level of sophistication. Start with what might be the single greatest business decision any professional athlete has ever made. It's 2011. LeBron is at the peak of his on-court powers. Fenway Sports Group comes to him for a marketing partnership around Liverpool FC. Standard industry practice would have been a cash fee. Take the check, do the appearances, everyone shakes hands and goes home. LeBron said no to the cash and asked for a 2% equity stake in Liverpool FC instead. At the time, Liverpool was valued at roughly $325 million. The people who heard about that deal probably smiled politely and moved on. A basketball player owning a sliver of an English soccer club. Cute story. 2021 rolls around. Liverpool's value has exploded. And LeBron doesn't just sit on his club stake. He and business partner Maverick Carter converted into a 1% ownership share of FSG itself, the entire parent company. Which means suddenly LeBron doesn't just own a piece of Liverpool. He owns a piece of the Boston Red Sox, a piece of the Pittsburgh Penguins, a piece of NESN, a piece of RFK Racing in NASCAR. One deal in 2011 that he refused to take as a check is now worth approximately $141.9 million. That's a 22-fold return on what he would have collected as a flat fee. 22 times. Because he asked for equity instead of cash when nobody told him he had to. That's not luck. That's a philosophy. Trade immediate money for long-term ownership in things that are going to grow. Execute that philosophy consistently across 2 decades. Watch what happens. Then there's Spring Hill. In 2020, LeBron consolidated his media operations into the Spring Hill Company. Production, marketing, branding, all unified. By 2021, Spring Hill was valued at $725 million, backed by Nike, Epic Games, and serious institutional money that understood exactly what LeBron's cultural gravity was worth at scale. The company produced Space Jam, A New Legacy, The Shop on HBO, documentaries, cultural content that sits at the intersection of sports and entertainment and black culture in a way nobody else was doing at that level. Then in 2025, Spring Hill merged with Fullwell 73, a British production company behind the Kardashians and major global event specials, to create Fullwell Entertainment. 250 employees, global distribution, and booked on ceremonies for the LA Olympics. LeBron went from basketball player to co-producer of an Olympic opening ceremony within a single career. And here's the architecture of why all of this works together in a way that's almost unfair. LeBron owns equity in FSG Sports Properties. Spring Hill produces content about sports and culture. When Fullwell Entertainment makes a documentary involving Liverpool FC, LeBron is collecting revenue as a part owner of the subject, as a producer of the content, and as the face whose cultural credibility made the whole project bankable in the first place.
I started reading books with no pictures. You can just imagine it.
To be number one. Not just once, but for 2 decades.
That's 3 points of capture on a single piece of content. Most media companies would kill for 2. The result of all of it? $1.2 billion net worth. Active, still in uniform. First NBA player in history to hit billionaire status before retirement. That sentence didn't exist until LeBron made it exist. The collection, cars, watches, and the science of moving like a billionaire. Let's spend some time in that 7,700 square foot underground garage, because the way LeBron curates his personal collection tells you something real about how he thinks about value. The crown jewel right now is a one-of-one Mercedes-Maybach S680, built through Mercedes' highest-tier bespoke customization program. Light ivory exterior, dark blue diamond-stitched Napa leather inside, his personal crown logo stitched into the interior panels. And then there's the detail that actually stops you cold. The GPS coordinates of his childhood home in Akron are embedded directly into the interior architecture of the car. A $400,000 plus vehicle that carries his origin story in the upholstery. Every single time he sits in it, he's literally riding on top of where he came from. That's not a car. That's a moving monument to the distance he's traveled. Then there's the Porsche 918 Spyder at around $2 million. Weissach Performance Package, Custom King, 918 plate. Because when you've earned the right to announce yourself, you stop pretending otherwise. The Lamborghini Aventador with a custom floral wrap designed specifically to match the LeBron 11 sneaker colorway. Because why wouldn't your car match your shoes when both are expressions of the same brand? A Ferrari 599 GTO worth over $2 million, one of the rarest road-legal versions of the 599XX racing car ever built. And a GMC Hummer EV with a feature called Crab Mode that lets a 9,000-pound truck move diagonally, which is either the most unnecessary thing in the world or the greatest innovation in automotive history, and honestly, it might be both. The watch portfolio operates at the same level. As an official Audemars Piguet ambassador, LeBron wears the Royal Oak Offshore that was literally designed in collaboration with his name attached to it, alongside the AP Black Panther Royal Oak concept. The kind of piece most serious collectors never even get the opportunity to purchase, regardless of what they're willing to spend. His Rolex lineup includes an 18-karat yellow gold Day-Date 2 and the Eye of the Tiger Daytona. And sitting in the collection alongside all of that is a Patek Philippe Nautilus with a Tiffany blue dial, a watch that only exists in the hands of people Patek Philippe personally decides deserve access to it. That's not a purchase. That's an invitation. Now the jet situation, because this one's actually more interesting than it sounds. Multiple outlets reported LeBron owns a $22 million Gulfstream G280, 10-passenger cabin, 3,600-mile range. LeBron went on record in 2025 calling those reports cap. And here's where it gets telling. Analysts who actually study how billionaires move suggest he almost certainly uses fractional ownership through NetJets or a similar service. Full private travel benefits, flexibility, complete privacy, zero commercial airport exposure, without the depreciation, maintenance burden, and administrative weight of owning an aircraft outright. The same man who turned down a flat fee in 2011 to take equity instead is not going to buy a rapidly depreciating asset when he can access identical utility at a fraction of the cost. That's just entirely consistent character across every category of his life. The school, the son, and the long game. And this is where the whole picture finally snaps into focus. Everything we've walked through, the Beverly Hills Fortress, the FSG equity stake, the Spring Hill merger, the underground garage full of rolling monuments, none of it makes complete sense without understanding what LeBron says is his most important professional accomplishment. And it's not a championship. It's not the $1 billion. It's not even the compound he built for his son on a hilltop in the 90210. It's a public school in Akron, Ohio. The I Promise School opened in 2018 as a partnership with the Akron Public School System. Not a charter school with his name above the door for optics, but a fully integrated public institution targeting the kids most likely to fall completely through the cracks. The foundation put in $2 million to launch it, and another $1 million for a gymnasium. But the structure is what makes it different from any celebrity-backed education initiative you've ever heard of. Students don't just get classes, they get meals, medical care, mental health support. Their parents get GED programs and job placement services, because LeBron understood something most philanthropists miss. You can't stabilize a child's education while their home is in crisis.
Man, shout out LeBron, man. That is the biggest, that is his biggest accomplishment right there. What? Not only is he helping the children, like providing them with school, right? He assisting the parents with getting their shit together too. Yeah, man, that's what's up. That's a nice ass food too.
The school treats the whole family as the unit that needs support, not just the kid in the seat. And then he did the thing that made it permanent. He partnered with the University of Akron to guarantee free tuition for every I Promise graduate who meets academic standards. Not a scholarship fund that runs dry. Not a pledge subject to renewal. A structural guarantee backed by institutional commitment and real money. Now connect that to the Beverly Hills compound where he built Bronny a private mansion inside a fortified dynasty infrastructure. Connect it to the FSG equity play where he chose long-term ownership over short-term cash. Connect it to the Spring Hill merger, positioning the James brand for relevance decades past his last game. Every single move LeBron makes, in real estate, in business, in philanthropy, operates on the same underlying logic. Don't optimize for today. Engineer for the generation after next. Build systems that keep producing after you're no longer the one running them. The compound in Beverly Hills will house the next James. The school in Akron will produce the next generation of kids from nothing who needed infrastructure, not charity. The FSG stake will keep appreciating long after the last jump shot. And somewhere on that hilltop, behind 10-foot walls, with Los Angeles spread out below him like a map of everything he's already won, LeBron James is probably not thinking about basketball at all. He's thinking about what outlasts him. That's the Los Angeles Empire. That's the whole game. And that's a wrap on LeBron James's absolutely massive LA empire. From a demolished $37 million Beverly Hills mansion to a $1 billion dynasty built piece by piece over 2 decades. Which move surprised you the most?
There's a couple moves that weren't discussed on them, but I understand where they were going with that shit that they don't know about.
Don't hug him before his mom hugs him because that's wrong and his mother should hug him first. Don't get in the camera because if you get in the camera like too much, you are an attention. You want this to revolve around you. Don't avoid the cameras and like sit down and try to dodge the cameras because
With Base 44, a simple sentence becomes your website. Page after page.
The Jackson family carried a story for generations, a story about an ancestor named July, who was part Native American, a medicine man, a scout, a man whose blood explained why some Jacksons had lighter skin, green eyes, and hair that did not match the photographs. The story passed from grandfather to father to son, the way all important stories do. DNA proved it was never true. not the Native American ancestor, not the medicine man, not the indigenous heritage that Joe Jackson referenced in his own book and that family members cited for decades whenever someone asked where the Jacksons really came from. What the Y chromosome actually carried was something no one in the family had ever been told, something that pointed not to the American interior and its native peoples, but to a plantation in South Carolina. And before that, to a country in Western Europe that nobody in the Jackson family had any reason to name. Before we dive in, comment where you are watching from and click subscribe. To understand what the DNA found,
but like my cousin, though, Plantation, South Carolina, that's where all our people from. Maybe that's why I had to move my whole life. My goddamn cousin, man. We do got some Jacksons up, I never thought about it. Some no, but they do. Anyways.
you have to understand where it was looking. And to understand that, you have to go back to the beginning of the Jackson family story, not Gary, Indiana, and not the Motown years, but the place the family actually came from, generations before any of them had names anyone would recognize. Joseph Jackson was born in 1929 in Fountain Hill, Arkansas. His father was Samuel Jackson. His grandfather before Samuel was Israel, known in family records as Nero Jackson. Nero Jackson was born into slavery around 1838 in the American South. He emerged from that system after emancipation, carrying almost nothing except a name that had been given to him by other people, and a family story about where he came from that, it would turn out, was not quite right. Before Nero, the paper trail gets thin in the way it always gets thin for enslaved families. The records that exist describe property, not people. They list values, not origins. They give ages and approximations and first names only. And they say nothing about where those people came from before the plantation, what language they spoke, what they called themselves, or what they knew about the generations behind them. This is the genealogical wall that sits inside almost every African-American family tree. It is not a mystery someone created by keeping secrets. Those secrets were certainly kept. It is a structural feature of American slavery, built deliberately into the legal and administrative architecture of a system designed to make the people inside it untraceable. Enslaved people were not permitted to record their own histories. Their marriages were not legally recognized. Their children belonged to whoever owned their mother. Their African names, languages, and origins were systematically stripped across generations, until what remained was a first name, an estimated age, and a dollar value in someone else's estate inventory. For the Jackson family, as for millions of others, that wall sits somewhere in the years before emancipation. And for generations, the family filled that silence with the story they had, the story about July, the medicine man, the Native American ancestor who explained the family's unusual features in the sense passed down through decades that they were something more complicated than the historical record allowed them to prove. That story was wrong, not maliciously wrong, not invented from nothing. Wrong in the way that families construct explanations for what they cannot document, drawing on the available vocabulary of difference, reaching for the narrative that makes sense of the evidence they can see. The DNA would eventually show them what the evidence actually meant. The investigation that cracked the Jackson paternal line open was not a television genealogy project. It was carried out by a man named Thomas Jackson, a descendant of Nero Jackson, who became interested in confirming the family's oral history about Native American ancestry. He approached the project the way serious genealogists do, starting with documents, moving to DNA when the documents ran out, and following the results wherever they led, even when they led somewhere no one expected. Thomas began by searching Native American rolls, the official records that identified individuals as members of recognized tribes. He found nothing. No Jackson ancestor appeared on any tribal roll. The paper trail he could assemble took the family not toward the American interior and its indigenous nations, but in the opposite direction entirely, back to Sumter County, South Carolina, and to a plantation owned by a man named James Joel Richbourg. James Joel Richbourg was a descendant of Claude Philippe de Richbourg, a French Huguenot who had immigrated to the American colonies in the early 18th century. The Huguenots were French Protestants who fled Catholic persecution in France beginning in the late 17th century, resettling in England, the Netherlands, and the American colonies, where they established themselves as landowners, merchants, and slaveholders. Claude Philippe de Richbourg arrived in South Carolina around 1700. His descendants, bearing the anglicized surname Richburg or Richbourg, became part of the planter class that defined the antebellum South. James Joel Richbourg owned enslaved people. Among them was a man named July. July appears in Richbourg's records as property. He was enslaved on the Richbourg plantation in Sumter County, South Carolina, at a time when the plantation system was at its height, and when the legal category of enslaved person meant total ownership of a human being's body, labor, movement, family relationships, and future. What July knew about his own origins, what language his mother spoke, where his family had come from before the plantation, none of that survives in any record. What survives is the ledger entry, the dollar amount, the transfer of ownership that would set everything that followed into motion. When James Joel Richbourg died in 1804, he wrote a will.
I want to find out how we find this shit here. I want to go down the timeline my damn self. I do. I want to find the descendants. I want to find the descendants of my ancestors. Owners. How do we attain some records like this? I'm gonna have to ask my AI. See if AI could point me in the right direction.
In that will, he bequeathed July to his daughter Mary. Mary Richborg married a man named Josiah Gale III. July went with her to Mississippi, and in the records that appear after that transfer, he is listed as July Gale, having taken the surname of his new enslavers. The way enslaved people throughout the South were made to carry the names of the people who owned them, rather than names of their own choosing. July Gale was known for skills that made him valuable and memorable. Family history, preserved in the oral tradition that Thomas Jackson III spent years trying to document, describes July as a medicine man, a healer who knew plants and treatments, and as a scout who worked with the United States Army. These stories became the foundation of the family belief in Native American ancestry. July's knowledge of medicinal plants, his scouting abilities, his unusual features, all of it got folded into a story about indigenous heritage that passed through generations as family truth. But there was another explanation for July's features, and DNA would eventually provide it.
Meet Steve. Steve reads the room and then goes against it. With FanDuel predicts.
When Thomas Jackson III could not find the family on any Native American rolls, he turned to genetic testing. He took an autosomal DNA test first, which gave him a broad picture of ancestry, sub-Saharan African, consistent with what history would predict for a family from the antebellum South, with some European markers that were not unusual for African American families. The European ancestry was there. Where it came from was the question. He then tested Y chromosome DNA, the direct paternal line, passed from father to son unchanged across generations, carrying the genetic signature of every man in that unbroken chain going back centuries. Y chromosome testing is the most powerful tool available for tracing the direct paternal line. The Y chromosome does not mix or dilute with each generation. Unlike autosomal DNA, it is a direct inheritance. Whatever haplogroup July carried, Nero carried. Whatever Nero carried, Samuel carried. Whatever Samuel carried, Joe Jackson carried. And whatever Joe Jackson carried, Michael Jackson carried. The Y.
And that's why they say you your daddy's son. And that's why they say that, because that Y chromosome was passed down.
Chromosome result came back as haplogroup RFT 1214.
That's how you keep the bloodline alive. That's why they be talking about keeping the blood.
435. It is a Western European haplogroup, specifically a subclade with strong frequency in the French population. Thomas then searched the testing database for matches. Other men who shared the same Y chromosome signature. He found one, a descendant of the Richborg family, a man whose direct paternal ancestors were the same French Huguenot line that had owned July on the plantation in Sumter County, South Carolina. The match was not coincidental. The Y-DNA analysis confirmed that July Gale and the Richborg family shared a common ancestor, a man born before 1750, somewhere in the French Huguenot line. The most direct explanation was not a distant connection or a coincidence of haplogroups. It was the explanation the records themselves already suggested once you knew what you were looking for. July was almost certainly the biological son of James Joel Richborg, or of a close male relative in the same paternal line. This is what that means. An enslaved woman named Rose, believed to be July's mother, though her origins and history are largely undocumented, was living on the Richborg plantation in South Carolina. A white man in the Richborg family fathered a child with her. That child was July. That child was then bequeathed in a will, moved to Mississippi with a new surname taken from his enslavers, and spent the rest of his life carrying a story about his origins that the family will continue telling for 200 years. Not Native American, French Huguenot, the bloodline of Protestant refugees who had fled religious persecution in Europe, crossed an ocean, built plantations in South Carolina, and like so many other men in that system, left biological descendants in the enslaved population they owned. The mechanism is the same one that runs through the DNA of millions of African American families. Enslaved women had no legal standing to refuse any man who owned them. Children born from those encounters were automatically enslaved, classified as property regardless of their father's identity. The father faced no legal consequence. The child carried the father's Y chromosome, but not his name, not his freedom, and not his version of the story. July carried a French haplogroup. He carried it into Mississippi. His son Nero carried it into freedom after emancipation. Nero's son Samuel carried it into Arkansas. Samuel's son Joseph carried it into Indiana. And Michael carried classified as fuse any man who owned them.
So
African American families. Enslaved women had no legal standing to refuse any man of millions of African American slave population, they Carolina, and like so many other men in that system, left in Europe, not Native American, French Huguenot, the bloodline to Mississippi with a new surname taken from his enslavers, and spent the rest of his life carrying a story about his origins that the family would continue telling for 200 years. Not Native American, French Huguenot, the bloodline of Protestant refugees who had fled religious persecution in Europe,
not Native American.
French Huguenot origins that the family would continue telling for 200 years. Not Native American, French Huguenot, the bloodline of Protestant refugees who had fled religious persecution in Europe, crossed an ocean, built plantations in South Carolina, and like so many other men in that system, left biological descendants in the enslaved population they own. The mechanism is the same one that runs through the DNA of millions of African American families. Enslaved women had no legal standing to refuse any man who owned them. Children born from those encounters were automatically enslaved, classified as property regardless of their father's identity. The father faced no legal consequence. The child carried the father's Y chromosome, but not his name, not his freedom, and not his version of the story. July carried a French haplogroup. He carried it into Mississippi. His son Nero carried it into freedom after emancipation. Nero's son Samuel carried it into Arkansas. Samuel's son Joseph carried it into Indiana. And Michael Jackson carried it onto every stage he ever performed on, in a body that held, encoded in its most direct paternal inheritance, the genetic signature of the man who had owned his ancestor and fathered a child who was legally his property. The surname Jackson itself is the record of that history. July's nickname was Jack. His son Nero became known as Jack's son. Jackson. The most famous surname in American popular music is a direct product of the plantation system. An enslaved man's nickname passed to his son as a surname, transformed over generations into a name the entire world would one day recognize. That is what a name can carry without anyone knowing it. Now consider what else the DNA left intact, because July was not simply a victim of the system that produced him. The records that survive about him describe a man of remarkable capability. He was known as a healer. He was engaged as a scout by the United States Army, which requires specific knowledge of terrain, navigation, and relationships with people across different communities. He acquired skills in a world designed to deny him everything, and he passed those skills down in the form of family stories that his descendants carried for 2 centuries. The family's belief in Native American ancestry was not a lie. It was the closest available explanation for something real, the unusualness of July's features.
With the latest Galaxy from Verizon, you can swipe a whole new look.
Nah.
His specific competencies, his position in the community around him. Families build explanations from what they can see. They did not have access to Y chromosome testing. They had oral tradition and memory and the physical evidence of the man himself. DNA gave Thomas Jackson III a more precise answer, but it did not erase the story. It corrected one element of it, the paternal origin, while leaving everything else intact. July's skills were real. His reputation was real. His descendants' pride in him was real. The French Huguenot Y chromosome is simply the part of his biology that points to a history his family was never positioned to know. What it points to specifically is the history of the Huguenots in America. They were French Protestants who fled Catholic persecution in the 1680s. They arrived in the Carolina colonies with an ethic of hard work and community. And within a generation or two, they had built themselves into the planter class that depended on enslaved labor for its survival. Claude Philippe de Richebourg's descendants became slaveholders. That is the historical fact. The ideology they had escaped, a system that classified people by birth and persecuted them for it, did not prevent their descendants from building a system that did exactly the same thing on different terms and at far greater scale. July Gale was the biological intersection of those two histories. He was the son of an enslaved woman whose origins are unknown, and the biological son of a French-descended planter who never acknowledged him. That planter bequeathed him in a will and left him to navigate a world in which his own father's bloodline was the thing most likely to harm him. And yet, from that intersection, something survived. Nero Jackson survived. Samuel Jackson survived. Joe Jackson, the man from Arkansas who moved to Indiana, who worked in a steel mill, who pushed his children onto a stage in Gary and drove them toward a music career with a combination of discipline and ambition that his children later described in complicated terms, survived and made something that outlasted him. Michael Jackson survived, and more than survived. The man who carried a French Huguenot Y chromosome in his direct paternal line, who grew up in a house full of music on the south side of Gary, who learned to move and to sing in ways that rearranged what was possible in popular culture, did not know what his DNA contained. No one had told him. The science to retrieve it did not reach his family until after he was gone. But Michael Jackson understood explicitly and repeatedly that he was the product of something long, the Pan-African imagery in his work.
It doesn't matter if you're black or white. He knew he was mixed, man. I don't know why they acting like he talking. Man, he ain't had no Native American shit in none of his motherfucking videos. Did he? He probably did. I take that back. He probably did. I take that back. I take that back. I think he did. I take that back. I take that back. I take that back. I take that back. I take, because he did a lot of shit. I take that back. Oh, my bad. But yeah, man, he knew he was, I think he knew it. I think he already knew.
The attention to black.
even though way before he did that, I think he knew, man.
American history in his music and his films. The awareness that his family story ran through the Great Migration, through sharecropping, through slavery, through a wall of silence that sat somewhere in the 19th century and refused to give up names. He knew the wall was there, even if he could not see past it. Now the DNA has given one answer past that wall. The direct paternal line runs through Nero Jackson, through July Gale, through a plantation in South Carolina, through a Huguenot family from France, to a common ancestor born before 1750, a man who lived and died without knowing that his bloodline would one day produce the king of pop. That is one thread, one line of inheritance pulled from an enormously complex weave. The rest of Michael Jackson's ancestry, the African roots, the maternal East African haplogroup from Catherine's side that we have examined before, the autosomal record of all the other ancestors whose contributions are folded into his DNA, tells a much larger story than any single line can contain. His ancestry was not French. It was not Native American. It was not simply African American in the flattened, undifferentiated sense that the history books often imply when they use that term. It was all of those things at once, in proportions and from origins that the Y chromosome alone can never fully map. But the Y chromosome tells one specific and irreversible truth. The name Jackson came from an enslaved man's nickname. That man's paternal line ran to France, and the path between France and a steel mill in Gary, Indiana runs directly through the plantation system of the American South, through a will written in 1804, through a transfer of ownership, through an encounter between a white planter and an enslaved woman that produced a child who was legally property and biologically the son of the man who owned him. History embedded all of that in a surname. The science eventually read it back out. What it cannot tell us is Rose's story, July's mother, the enslaved woman whose origins are undocumented, whose African ancestry, whatever it was, from wherever it came, also flows through every Jackson descendant alive today. Her name survived in family memory. Her origins did not. The Y chromosome belongs to the man who exploited her. Her contribution to the Jackson bloodline is visible only in the autosomal record, distributed across generations, impossible to isolate into a single clean line. She has no haplogroup story. She has no French flag on a genetic time tree. She has no named ancestor from a recognizable place. She has descendants. That is what she left. And somewhere in that is the question that DNA can raise, but never fully answer. Not who owned July, but who Rose was before she was anyone's property. That answer is still missing. The DNA recovered one truth that 200 years of silence had buried. July Gale's father was not a Native American medicine man. He was a French Huguenot planter in South Carolina who left a will and left a child and left no acknowledgement of either one's connection to the other. The science made that truth undeniable. It gave the Jackson family a correction they could not have found in any archive. What it could not give them, what it cannot give any family whose history runs through the plantation system, is the full story. The names on the wrong side of the ledger, the women whose contributions are dissolved into percentage points and population averages rather than individual lines of inheritance, the specific human beings who were taken, transferred, bequeathed, and renamed, and who nonetheless passed something of themselves forward into every generation that followed. Michael Jackson's father's bloodline traces to France, his name traces to a plantation, and his music traces to something the DNA cannot measure, to the survival across 2 centuries of deliberate erasure of people who were never supposed to leave a record at all.
Okay, so we're at the film festival, middle of Park City. The door.
They got a cartoon of this shit.
So I'm 15 when that happened. It's a rapper from here by the name of Bun B. Bun B has a crew called the Middle Fingers. In the Middle Fingers, it's a dude named Bandit. I tell true stories. This is why I tell people's name. So you can, if you want to, you can verify the story. So I'm 18. We in Bandit's mama's Beretta. She drove a burgundy Beretta. And we in the car and we driving down the street, which I can't say the name of the street because I don't know the statute of limitations on certain crimes. So we riding down the street and on the passenger side and out the corner of my eye, my good one, I see a dude standing at the bus stop that looks like Quincy. And I said, yo, Bandit, pull over right here and let me out. He said, man, you don't stay over here. I said, I know where I stay. Let me out. He said, what's up? I said, remember I told you about that dude hit me in my face when I was 15? He said, yeah. I said, he back there at that bus stop. Let me out, man. He said, man, let that shit go. I said, I can't do that. Can't do that. Get out. I'm walking down the street.
They did this cartoon with AI.
380.
They did this cartoon with AI. I could tell how it's fucked up, and they didn't even try to correct it. They just gave me an idea. I've been asleep. I've been asleep, dog. I've been fucking asleep.
Right, that's my kind of choice. So I walk up, I say, my man, what's your name? He said, nigga Quincy. And I spit on him, walked out, bitch. And I walked out. Bandit pulls up, get in the car. Get in the car, man. I said, man, it's fucked up. It's fucked up what you just did. You shot that man in my mama's car. I said, I didn't shoot that man in your mama's car. I shot that man outside your mama's car. And I told you to go on about your goddamn business. Now, that is when I was 18. 19, I went to prison. Not for that, for something else. This is how I know I hold grudges. 19, I went to prison. I'm 22 now. I'm on Darrington unit. 22, I'm on Darrington. And then in prison, TDC, they have a brush called a shitter brush. This is what you clean the toilet with. That's why it's called a shitter brush. We call the toilet the shitter. And it's usually made out of hard plastic or wood, depending on what year you came. You know what I'm saying? So I come in the day room and I see a dude sitting at the table. And I said, is that Quincy? This motherfucker live? I picked that brush up. I say, my man, what's your name? And he say, Quincy, nigga. Hit that man right on top of his head, split his shit over. Me and this man start fighting. COs come in and break the shit up, and I'm saying they shit me because I'm saying crazy shit. No, bitch, let me tell you something. One of us got to go home because I'm going to murder you and your mama, and I'm going to write the letter. I'm so mad I'm saying crazy shit. So I'm 22. Last year, I'm in Walmart. And I see a man on a walker. He on the aisle, he on the walker. I'm with my mama. I turn to my mama, I say, hey, go to the car. I say, what? I say, go to the car. I say, remember I told you about that man who hit mine? Go to the car. Say, my man. That dude turned around and said, nigga, don't you hit me? I am sorry. And you know something that I realized as I thought about all of this? I went to prison for 6 years. I got jumped on by a dope fiend couple. I got thrown in a dumpster. Got my eye messed up. Holding a grudge for a man all these years. And I realized I did all of that for a fresh ass tracksuit.
Bank with Mid-Florida, and your financial worries will finally lose traction.
Live life never bugged with STEM's flying insect-like trap, made without chemical insects.
The alley behind the row house on the 7,800 block of Bayard Street in West Oak Lane, Philadelphia, is barely wide enough for two men to pass each other shoulder to shoulder. On the night of April 15, 2005, at approximately 9:30 p.m., 79 shell casings fell on its asphalt. A man was dead. Two more were bleeding. A bullet had passed through the wall of a neighbor's house. 12 men in black hoodies were seen running from the block. The guns were never recovered. And the rapper, whose row house sat at the mouth of that alley, who had 2 gold albums, a deal with Swizz Beatz, and a song on every radio in Philadelphia, walked away from the wreckage of what had just happened and did not come back for 2 months. 2 blocks away, his oldest friend was running too. Same hooded silhouette, same empty hands. They would split here, in the dark, and not come back together until a courtroom forced it. That friend would ride this case down to a not guilty verdict, walk free, become a rapper of his own, and 10 years later catch a 45-year federal sentence for something else entirely. The alley was just the first version of his ending. 63 days after the shooting, Barry Adrian Reese turned himself into Philadelphia police. The trial that followed was supposed to send him away for 25 to life. He served 8 months, shoulder to shoulder. On the night of April 15, 2005, at approximately 9:30 p.m., 79 shell casings fell on its asphalt. A man was dead. 2 more were bleeding. A bullet had passed through the wall of a neighbor's house. 12 men in black hoodies were seen running from the block. The guns were never recovered. And the rapper, whose row house sat at the mouth of that alley, who had 2 gold albums, a deal with Swizz Beatz, and a song on every radio in Philadelphia, walked away from the wreckage of what had just happened and did not come back for 2 months. 2 blocks away, his oldest friend was running too. Same hooded silhouette, same empty hands. They would split here, in the dark, and not come back together until a courtroom forced it. That friend would ride this case down to a not guilty verdict, walk free, become a rapper of his own, and 10 years later catch a 45-year federal sentence for something else entirely. The alley was just the first version of his ending. 63 days after the shooting, Barry Adrian Reese turned himself into Philadelphia police. The trial that followed was supposed to send him away for 25 to life. He served 8 months. His name is Barry Adrian Reese. And the rapper, Grady, and become a rapper of his own, and 10 years later catch a 45-year federal sentence for something else into a not guilty split here, in the dark, and not come back together until a courtroom forced it. That friend would ride this case down to a not guilty verdict, walk free, become a rapper of his own, and 10 years later catch a 45-year federal sentence for something else entirely. The alley was just the first version of his ending. 63 days after the shooting, Barry Adrian Reese turned himself into Philadelphia police. The trial that followed was supposed to send him away for 25 to life. He served 8 months. His name is Barry Adrian Reese. The world knows him as Cassidy. This is the story of how he survived an alley, a courtroom, and a head-on collision on the New Jersey Turnpike. How he found God in a prison cell and lost him on a battle rap stage. And how the man he came up with paid the bill that he walked away from. Chapter 1, West Oak Lane. Barry Adrian Reese was born July 7, 1982 in Philadelphia. He grew up in West Oak Lane in the kind of neighborhood where the distance between a trade school diploma and a state prison number is about 2 bad decisions. And the second one usually happens before you realize you already made the first. Cassidy started rapping young and he was good immediately. Not good in the way every kid on the stoop in Philadelphia thinks he is good. Good in the way that made grown men stop talking. He could freestyle for 20 minutes without repeating a word. He could flip any topic, any punchline, any angle, and make it sound like he had written it a week ago instead of thinking it up on the spot. By the late 90s, he was running through every battle rap cipher on the East Coast and nobody could touch him. In 2000, a man named Terrence Dean saw Cassidy perform. Terrence Dean was Swizz Beatz' father, and he brought the kid straight to his son. Swizz was building Full Surface Records, a joint venture with Clive Davis and J Records. He was looking for artists who could sell. Cassidy could sell. The deal was 3 albums. The first one, Split Personality, came out in 2003 with a single called Hotel featuring R. Kelly. It went gold. The second album, I'm a Hustler, came out in 2004 and went gold too. Cassidy was 22 years old with 2 gold plaques, performing at award shows, doing press runs by every measurable standard out. But he was not out. Not really. Because every night after the interviews and the radio runs, Barry Reese went back to the same row houses, the same corners, and the same people who had been there before Swizz Beatz ever heard his name. And he brought with him a young man named Abdul Ibrahim West. Abdul was Cassidy's childhood friend, raised in a 2-parent Muslim household. Ate together, prayed together 5 times a day, graduated high school at 16 with a trade in plumbing. But Abdul was drawn to something else. He wanted the streets the way some people want music. Not because they need it, but because something inside them cannot stop reaching for it. Years later, Abdul's rap name would be A.R. Ab. But in April of 2005, he was not a rapper. He was the most feared man in West Oak Lane. Chapter 2, Bayard Street, April 15, 2005. I'm a Hustler was climbing the charts. The buzz around Cassidy's second album was peaking. Philadelphia was claiming him the way Philadelphia claims anyone who makes it out, possessively, proudly, with an undercurrent of something that could turn ugly at any moment. Earlier that day, Cassidy crossed paths with a man named Desmond Hawkins at a Rite Aid in West Oak Lane. Desmond Hawkins was 22, from Cedarbrook. He had appeared in Cassidy's own DVD, Back to Basics. They were not strangers. They were from the same neighborhood. By nightfall, the words at the Rite Aid had grown legs. Abdul got involved. What happened in the hours between the Rite Aid and the shooting depends on who you ask. What the evidence shows is this. At some point before nightfall, firearms were positioned around the alley behind Cassidy's row house. At least 4 weapons, handguns, and at least 1 assault rifle staged. Around 9:30 p.m., Desmond Hawkins arrived with 2 friends, Bobby Hoyle, 21, and Daniel Irvin, 22. Hoyle would later testify that they came to make peace, that Hawkins wanted to squash whatever was building before it got bigger. When they got there, they were directed to the alley behind the house. They climbed back into the van and pulled into the alley between the tightly packed row homes. The van sat, the engine idled, then the alley erupted. The Philadelphia Police Department recovered 79 shell casings from that alley, 79 pieces of brass in a space no wider than a driveway. Ballistics identified at least 5 separate firing positions, 4 outside the van, 1 inside it. Glass shattered, parked cars were shredded. A bullet passed through the wall of a neighbor's house. Desmond Hawkins was shot in the back. A single gunshot wound to the chest killed him. He died at Albert Einstein Medical Center. Bobby Hoyle took a bullet through his thigh. Daniel Irvin was shot in the stomach and arm. Both survived.
Power their play with Iams High Protein.
That's crazy. They survived that shit.
CE Ferulic, now proven to visibly improve 8 signs of premature aging on all skin tones.
Chapter 3, Curran from Hold. On June 17, 2005 at dawn, Cassidy turned himself in to Philadelphia police. He was transported to Curran from Hold Correctional Facility, Philadelphia's largest jail, the same facility that had once housed Beanie Siegel. Philly had a habit of folding its wrappers back into itself. He was processed. He was given a jumpsuit. The cell door closed. 2 weeks later in Ohio, Abdul West was arrested. Same charges, same case. And from this point, the 2 childhood friends took completely different paths through the legal system. In August 2005, Municipal Judge Marcia Nyfield downgraded Cassidy's charge from 1st degree to 3rd degree murder. The legal chess match went on for months, but the real move happened outside the courtroom. The 2 surviving witnesses, Bobby Hoyle and Daniel Irvin, both took the stand and were visibly uncomfortable about it. By the time the testimony was finished, the prosecution's case had unraveled. On January 25th, 2006, the jury came back. Cassidy was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. He was acquitted of murder and attempted murder. His sentence was 11.5 to 23 months. With 7 months of time served already credited, he walked out of Curran from Hold on March 2nd, 2006. 8 months. A man had died in that alley, 79 shell casings on the ground, and Cassidy served 8 months. Abdul West took his case to trial in 2007 and was found not guilty on all charges. He walked out with no record. Years later, Abdul, now AR Ab, would receive a 45-year federal sentence for running a drug trafficking operation, but that is a different story. What matters here is what Cassidy did while he was sitting in Curran from Hold, waiting for his trial. He went to chapel 2, sometimes 3 times a day. Every day he read the Bible cover to cover, almost twice. Chapter 4, The Machine, October 2006. 7 months after walking out of Curran from Hold, Cassidy was leaving Philadelphia, headed to a recording studio in Yonkers, New York. His SUV was northbound on the highway. A U-Haul truck was spotted swerving across the center line. The impact was head-on. The wreckage was not a survivable collision. Cassidy was pulled from the vehicle with a fractured skull, broken facial bones, and brain damage. He was rushed to Jersey City Medical Center. He was placed in a coma. 7 days passed, then 8. The doctors induced a deeper coma to manage the swelling. When he finally woke up, pieces of his life were missing. The amnesia was not total. He knew who he was eventually, but the recovery took months. This is the moment Barry Reese became certain that God was real. Not in the abstract way people talk about God when things are going well. In the way a man who has survived a murder charge in a car accident that should have killed him talks about God. He compared himself to Job, the righteous man who lost everything as a test, endured suffering, and was restored because he never lost faith. His next album, Bars, the Barry Adrian Reese story, dropped in 2007. Embedded in it were tracks about God, Done For Me, Leaning on the Lord featuring Angie Stone. Gospel collaborations buried inside a rap album. He said later that he wanted to do more. The label would not let him. The machine wanted hits. The machine did not want hymns. Chapter 5, Faith Faded. For about 18 months between late 2012 and mid-2013, Cassidy was the closest thing hip-hop had to a convert. In November 2012, he walked into Power 105.1 in New York and sat down across from the Breakfast Club. He ended that interview with a freestyle about Jesus Christ, accurate scripture, the kind of bars that made you wonder how many times he had actually read that Bible in Curran from Hold. The clip went viral, not on WorldStar, on GodTube, a Christian video platform, under the title Secular Rapper Cassidy Freestyles the Gospel. The Christian community embraced him. Christian Post gave him 2 full-length interviews. He gave what amounted to a testimony. He identified with Job. He credited prison and the car accident. He said he felt obligated to talk about God because God was the only reason he was still alive. In May 2013, he released a single called Sunday School, Gospel Rap, A Pastor on the Hook. It was the only song from a full gospel album he had been recording. The album was called God Works in Mysterious Ways. The album never dropped. No streaming platform listed. No music blog reviewed it. The single Sunday School is the only thing that survived. A year and a half later, Cassidy walked back into battle rap. December 2014, he stood across from Disaster at Philman's Either event. No scripture, no gospel, just bars. April 2019, he battled Goods at URL's Resolution event in Atlanta. Goods won it 3-0. January 2020, he battled Arsenal at URL Lockdown in his hometown of Philadelphia. April 2021, he battled Hitman Holla at an RB event. December 2024, he battled Easy the Block Captain at Philadelphia. The night ended in chaos. The album called God Works in Mysterious Ways was announced in February 2013. A single dropped in May, and then it disappeared, the way faith sometimes does. Not with a public renunciation, not with a moment you can point to. It just faded. The way a Bible that used to sit on a nightstand ends up in a drawer, and then in a box, and then in a closet. And in a federal prison somewhere, AR Ab is 45 years into a sentence that started the same night Cassidy's did, the night they ran from the same alley. That part of the story does not fade. 45 years does not fade. Desmond Hawkins is still dead. 22 years old, shot in the back in a narrow alley on Bayard Street in West Oak Lane on an April night in 2005, while 79 shell casings rained down around him. That part never changes. No matter how many Bibles you read, no matter how many times you go to chapel, the alley doesn't forget, even if you do.
No weapons recovered. Detectives are stupid. Prosecution case weak. Judge say it's confusing. One man gone, 2 men leaking out fluids. No witnesses saw anything. Plus the lawyers is Jewish. Barry Reese, babyface, hotel paid the rent. Rough Rider chain dragon.
We're not listening to the rest of that. Shit crazy though, man. All right, what's next on the, what else? What else?
Like, whoa.
Wondering if you could use your FSA for that? At FSA Store, you don't have to worry. Shop more than 25.
On the 8th of December 2019, at approximately 1 a.m., a private jet carrying Jared Higgins, known globally at this point as Juice WRLD, was landing at Midway International Airport in Chicago. Juice, at this stage of his life, had reached extraordinary heights in record speed, going from a fairly unknown SoundCloud artist to having multiple platinum songs and albums within 2 years. They were arriving in his hometown Chicago to celebrate his 21st birthday, but something tragic would occur upon the plane's landing. Due to intel of drugs and guns on the aircraft, police had arrived at the airport, ready to search the Gulfstream and its passengers, but during this procedure, Juice began to have a seizure, one so violent he wasn't able to be saved, because at 3:14 a.m., Jared Higgins was sadly pronounced dead.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old, who was named Billboard's Best New Artist this year, suffered a medical emergency at Chicago's Midway Airport.
This morning, so many questions as to how a seemingly healthy 21-year-old could die so unexpectedly.
The toxicology report would reveal that his seizure was far from a random, unlikely, and unpredictable experience. Juice WRLD was a ticking time bomb. He had been taking a significantly unhealthy amount of drugs over a long period of time, until the point his body could no longer maintain itself. But this didn't come as a surprise to his fans, or anyone who really took the time out to seriously taking his music. Juice had constantly rapped lyrics alluding to his struggles with drugs, and those around him had started to notice his habits turning deadly.
And then like we're really like, that tour was a big realization of how many pills he was actually doing, because people like don't realize like, yeah, he would do pills, but like it wasn't that many at first when we first started hanging out. But then like towards the end, it was a lot. The last few months there, I'm like, this is starting to get out of control.
But how at only 21 years of age does this happen to someone? How could such a deadly addiction take over his body in a seemingly short amount of time? And the question that played on my mind, and I assume many others, is why this happened despite no obvious trauma. He was raised in the suburbs, went to a relatively good school, and had all the talent to take over the world with his music. But this still happened. I wanted to understand why. I wanted to dissect his mind and try my best to understand his psychology. And what I found is that, in my opinion, Juice WRLD didn't stand a chance.
All my life, I've had like ADD, so my mom has been putting me on Vyvanse, Adderall. That shit damn near ruined my childhood a little bit. Like,
he had therapy because he had impulsive behavior. So
he definitely had like depression and stuff like that, and he would use drugs and not cope with things the right way, and use drugs to cope with things.
I'm not necessarily the most joyful person in the world, but that's one thing that does make me happy, making music.
How do you do knowing that like it can kill you right away? Like,
I mean, I feel like in today's society, the oxygen we breathe could kill us. Like hearing that music at such a young age, nigga, I was trying to sip lean in 6th grade.
Yeah. Before you started getting famous, though, you were probably limited on money and resources in terms of getting fucked up, and then all of a sudden you got too much money.
I feel like when people do drugs, it separates their head from their body even more, separates their soul from their body even more. Because your mind could be telling you, fuck no, your mind could be telling you, hell no. But your body is dependent.
But I want you to describe that single and that track that we're playing right now.
I would tell myself to stay as far away from drugs as possible.
So like nobody heard this song and like wanted to talk to him or something. Like it's like, yo, are you okay, man?
You think he wanted to die?
Man?
You think he wanted to die?
It's crucial for us to understand who Jared Higgins was before he was Juice WRLD, before the drugs, before the pain. He was born on December 2nd, 1998, to Carmela Wallace and Carl Higgins. But the two were divorced when Jared was 3 years old, and he'd spend the rest of his childhood raised by a single mother. Carmela was seemingly a great mother, and gave him as good of an opportunity as she could have. In interviews, he's had nothing but good things to say about her.
I mean, she's like, I don't know, one of the proudest people ever. Like, she's like been my biggest supporter and cheerleader since birth. I love her to death for that, and trying to give her the world. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this shit.
Carmela moved him to a village in Illinois called Homewood, a suburb to the south of Chicago. Homewood has been reviewed as one of the nicest places to live in Illinois. Not only is it relatively safe and have good schooling,
but it's also diverse. It's often rare for affluent and safe neighborhoods to have such a high African-American population, but Carmelo had done a good job in finding one in the hopes that he wouldn't be an outsider. Unfortunately, he'd still end up feeling like one, but it wasn't because of his race.
All my life, I've had like ADD, so my mom has been putting me on Vyvanse and Adderall. I've been all the doctor's appointments, so it's the same shit. I always tested high, very intelligent person, but I wasn't one of the motherfuckers that could just sit in the classroom and just focus on the teacher talking to me.
Many times, Jared has referenced this quote-unquote ADD, although some people, especially from older generations, might still use that term. Since 1987, the condition has had its name changed to ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, but they're the same diagnosis, just evolved. So when understanding what Jared was going through, ADHD provides that explanation. ADHD is a condition that affects how your brain works. It means that it's hard for you to control your attention or direct it to certain tasks. ADHD causes symptoms like difficulty focusing, trouble sitting still, and impulsive behaviors. But it also allows you to get in the zone and hyper-focus on things you really enjoy. ADHD symptoms fall into two big groups: inattention symptoms and hyperactivity impulsivity symptoms. I'll throw all of them on the screen, but inattention symptoms are things like avoiding tasks that require focusing for a long time, getting easily distracted by things going on around you, and starting a task but then getting sidetracked and not finishing it. Hyperactivity impulsivity includes things like getting up when you're supposed to stay seated, having difficulty waiting your turn to do something, or speaking out of turn and finishing other people's sentences. So whilst these may seem like annoying traits if you're around someone with ADHD, you have to remember that they can't really control these impulses or traits, and they have to try extremely hard to suppress them. ADHD is your turn to do something, attract and not finishing that require focusing for impulsivity symptoms. I'll throw all of them on the screen, but inattention symptoms are things like avoiding tasks that require focusing for a long time, getting easily distracted by things going on around you, and starting a task but then getting sidetracked and not finishing it. Hyperactivity impulsivity includes things like getting up when you're supposed to stay seated, having difficulty waiting your turn to do something, or speaking out of turn and finishing other people's sentences. So whilst these may seem like annoying traits if you're around someone with ADHD, you have to remember that they can't really control these impulses or traits, and they have to try extremely hard to suppress them. ADHD is genetic. That means a child is born with certain gene changes that cause differences in their brain development. Often the gene changes that cause ADHD are passed down within biological families. Jared got diagnosed with this in the 4th or 5th grade, and immediately he was put on medication that changed his whole personality.
They put you on anything for it?
For sure.
Adderall?
You know they love putting little kids on that
Especially
shit.
little black kids from the hood.
Of course. I don't really agree with that shit, bro. I was in 5th grade getting diagnosed with ADD. How the fuck can you tell a 5th grader they have ADD? He's in fucking 5th grade. How is he supposed to act? I started out with Focalin. I've been on all that Focalin, what's the Ritalin, Vyvanse, Adderall, all that shit.
Focalin, Ritalin, Vyvanse, and Adderall are all ADHD stimulants. What's interesting is that if you don't have ADHD and you take these, they can end up making you hyper, talkative, or jittery. When given to someone with ADHD, however, the result is paradoxical. An ADHD brain is often hunting for stimulation because its baseline dopamine levels are low. This feels like multiple thoughts running at once, being distracted, and being impulsive. These stimulants raise that baseline, which effectively shuts up that background noise. It allows the person to pick one focus and stay on it. The meds also enhance the prefrontal cortex, so the person has an extra split second to think before doing something, like, should I really say that? Or, let me finish this before I start that. But also importantly, they change emotional regulation. So the person isn't as reactive to stress or frustration, and it lowers impulsivity. Impulsivity was a big part of Jared's ADHD, based on how Carmelo described him.
In high school, he had therapy because he had impulsive behavior. So I had him see a psychologist.
But back then when he was 15, what were you seeing that concerned you as a mom?
Impulsiveness. It was just that self-control that he just didn't have.
But the issue with this medication is that when given the wrong dosage or type, it can make you feel docile and sort of empty, like you have no personality. This happened to Jared, and within a year of being put on the meds, he voluntarily stopped taking them.
Meet Miss Pink. She's a credit wrecker. She doesn't know that missing a
Like you
monthly
said, he
payment
ain't
can
like
stay
that
on her
shit.
credit record.
But he ain't like that shit, man. He was a fucking child. How you supposed to act? He's acting, being a fucking kid. And that's another thing that's wrong with shit. That's another thing that's wrong with shit. Black kids forced to grow up so damn fast. They're not even allowed to be fucking kids, bro. They always trying to diagnose some shit and say some shit wrong with them, whatever. Well, shit don't even be wrong with them for real. They be creating issues just because it's not normal for them.
On my own, even before my mama knew, she used to pack it with my breakfast. Then she'd have my pills wrapped up, and I was supposed to take them after I eat. I used to store them away. When was that, like 5th, 6th grade? I did not like the way that shit made me feel. You know, you took the pill, and for like 15 minutes, you like, all your personality is like enhanced. Like you're all social, class clown, laughing. After the 15 minutes is over, 15 minutes pass, and then all my personality would be gone. Crash. And I'd be like a zombie. That shit damn near ruined my childhood a little bit. Like, ain't ruined it, but it made it less enjoyable because that shit kill your personality.
Although it's completely understandable that no one would want to feel like that, stopping his meds may have opened the door for other issues to seep through.
Amongst others like low self-esteem and not reaching your full potential, an increased risk of developing substance use disorder is also a noted complication. ADHD is fundamentally a dopamine insufficiency problem. The brain's reward circuitry doesn't fire at baseline the way a neurotypical brain does. Substances like opioids, alcohol, and stimulants flood the dopamine system artificially. For someone with ADHD, that hit temporarily corrects a chronic neurological deficit. The brain recognizes it as a relief, which makes the reinforcement loop significantly stronger than it would for someone without ADHD. One of the core ADHD traits is weakened impulse control, specifically the ability to pause between urge and action. The same deficit that makes it hard to sit still in class makes it harder to stop at just one pill or to not reach for a substance when emotionally dysregulated. ADHD brains tend to experience emotions more intensely and have less capacity to regulate them. Substances are an immediately effective regulation tool. People with unmanaged ADHD often start using substances earlier because they're already dysregulated and seeking relief before they have the maturity or resources to find healthier outlets. Earlier onset significantly increases the likelihood of substance dependency developing, and Jared was in the 4th grade. A big misconception I've seen around is Juice had to take meds like Advil and Vyvanse, so that made him susceptible to drug use. And whilst that might seem like it makes some sort of sense as a passing comment, it's completely wrong, and actually the evidence would suggest the opposite. Studies consistently show that children with ADHD who receive appropriate stimulant medication treatment during childhood actually have a lower risk of developing substance use disorders later, not higher. The science logic is that properly managed ADHD, where the dopamine dysregulation is being addressed, reduces the neurological pressure to self-medicate. So ironically, what Jared says in that Breakfast Club interview provides us with extremely telling evidence that his decision to go against his order to take his meds in the 5th or 6th grade would have increased his likelihood of falling into substance abuse. You might be thinking, yeah, this sounds good in theory, but how is a kid in 6th grade going to start using substances? Unfortunately, that's exactly what would start happening.
So like 6th, 7th grade, I was hooping, I was playing baseball. I was good at both at the time. But I was also like freestyling, and I was really into music. Like I used to damn near worship the shit. Like I was into music so much. So my family put me on all this different music, Future, Gucci, all these niggas talking about drugs.
At around 11 years old, an impulsive Jared had fallen into exactly what Carmela feared. She had already tried to prevent him listening to hip-hop as a kid, maybe just because of her taste, but perhaps because of the bad influences it contains. Whether violent crime, sleeping with lots of women, or selling drugs, hip-hop has a tendency to glorify certain degenerate activities. This can make easily influenced listeners aspire to pursue these activities, and one of them, for certain rappers, was drug use.
You can't help but ignore how fun or how interesting, at least, they're making Zans and Lean and all this shit sound.
Yeah, bro, like when I heard Future, the first song I ever heard by Future was Ain't No Way Around It. The second song I ever heard by Future, Dirty Sprite, like off the first Dirty Sprite mixtape. And that shit had me wanting to sip Lean at like 11, 12 years old, bro.
Yeah.
Jared says the song Dirty Sprite by Future was the catalyst for the Juice WRLD we'd later know. And looking at the lyrics of that song, it amazes me how something so degenerate and deadly can be portrayed in such an attractive way. Future starts out the song by shouting out Pimp C, DJ Screw, and Big Hawk. These are all figures of hip-hop who popularized a certain drink. Lean is the combination of prescription-strength cough syrup containing codeine and promethazine, a soft drink such as Sprite, and sometimes candy. Both Pimp C and DJ Screw had died from complications related to it, yet Future still proceeds to glorify it in the song. He states he drinks Lean for breakfast, that it's his favorite drink and it tastes like Kool-Aid, but he can't get enough of it and he's willing to drink it until he overdoses. Somehow, someway, after getting inspired, Jared was able to get his hands on it, despite it being relatively expensive, especially for someone his age. Lean isn't used with regular off-the-shelf cough medicine. It's a specific formula that uses those mentioned opioids and is significantly stronger. Because of its price, he probably wasn't accessing it that much at that age.
It's a good thing, because think about how burnt out I'd be if I had the resources to get high every, you know what I'm saying? Think about how, especially you discovering something new, you want as much of that as possible. All this shit got you feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so over the next few years, he started taking Percocets as well. These are also opioids like Lean, but come in a pill form and are cheaper, but also just as addictive.
Coming from somebody that was in that shit. For the niggas that's really doing it, it wasn't because of a trend. Like, motherfuckers was really addicted out here. Like, it wasn't because of, like, for example, my freshman year.
Motherfucker really
I ran into some
addicted
Percocets my
out
freshman
here.
year, 14, 15 years old, 13, 14, whatever from there. I ran into some Percocets.
The motherfucker really
In the hood and shit,
addicted out
niggas
here.
don't know that it's an opiate. But then after a while, you drink so much, then they want to take perks. Then they want to start taking Percocets. And then they don't know why they like perks, and now they're addicted to perks.
He also started taking Xanax, which aren't opioids, but cause a similar effect of sedation, anxiety relief, and muscle relaxation. How much and how often he was taking these drugs during his early teenage years is information I don't have. But one thing for sure is by taking them regularly, he was setting himself up for addiction. It's crazy that this was primarily being fueled because the rap music he was listening to made him curious. But this is actually one of the more common reasons drugs like Lean get desired and addicted to.
And you have really good-looking rappers who's got all the honeys, who's got all the girls, you know, and he's drinking this. He's always got a white styrofoam cup in his hand, and he's on this. Then maybe if I do that, I'll get the honeys, I'll get the Lambo, I'll get the Maserati, you know, things of that nature. They're making that association, even if that association is not really real.
Then on top of being seen as cool, it allegedly tastes nice, making you feel euphoric and carefree, and it spikes your dopamine, all catalysts for you to get addicted. Jared then had to go through high school like this, frequently high, but at the same time he was honing his real craft, freestyling.
You exist? Not to me, I'm R. Kelly, nigga. You can be pissed. Hey, Caleb, sounds like you're deaf or something. That's okay. I'll be on the beat, spinning fast like Earth to left or something. Really, it's nothing making assumptions. It's nothing making you put you in the oven for no reason or something. I'm the best at it. Yes, I'm the best at it. I got some bad habits.
Topic-wise, you talk about drugs a lot. When and what situations do you do them?
when I was experimenting with stuff, I was wild. It was random. not condoning that shit. Nothing. I used to walk through high school like that, in the studios like that. I just like the feeling of it, you know.
He started uploading his music to SoundCloud under the name Juice the Kid, but 2 years passed and he hadn't found success, and it was time to apply for college, one place he didn't want to attend. He actually describes this as the lowest point of his life.
Lowest point I was at was when I felt like my music wasn't going to where I wanted it to go, and my grades were fucked up in high school, and it was time like to, you know, for colleges to start looking at motherfuckers. I'd be sitting in my room just going crazy over this shit.
He eventually changed his name to Juice WRLD and kept trying to succeed in music, but obviously the one thing he didn't mention in this answer is how much the drugs would have been ruining him.
Refresh your kitchen for less this spring with top brand appliances at Famous Taste. Whether you're replacing one appliance or updating your entire...
Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Luma AI. So you know how with most AI image tools, half the battle is actually figuring out how to phrase the prompt. Like you spend more time trying to speak to the AI than actually creating anything. It gives you back an image that's still far from what you wanted. Luma's new model, Uni 1, kind of fixes that. Instead of just taking your words and spitting out an image, it actually reasons through what you're trying to make first. So you can give it a proper brief, like a detailed scene, a structured layout, and a sequence of images, and it gets it first time. They've also just released an API, which means that you can now plug AI-generated videos directly into your own apps, workflows, and creative tools. So it's not just for personal use anymore. I tried it, and honestly, it feels less like using a tool and more like working with something that actually understands you. So if you've ever been interested in making an image using AI, whether for a work project or purely for fun, this is the one I'd recommend over the others you might have seen. Links in the description. Go check it out. LumaLabs.ai. So, what does years of opioid use actually do to someone?
LumaLabs.ai. We might have to fuck with that.
Jared's opioid use is the primary factor for why he isn't here today. But understanding how it captured him is crucial for also understanding how this stopped being as much of a choice and more of a possession over him. Opioid use disorder, or OUD, is a specific substance use disorder where an ongoing pattern of opioid use affects your health and quality of life. Now, as mentioned, the ingredients in the cough medicine used in lean are types of opioids, and perks are also opioids. A doctor might prescribe opioids for a certain issue or pain, but a primary feature of them is that they also cause your body to produce dopamine and endorphins. Endorphins reduce your pain, and dopamine increases your pleasure. So for the brief moment that the drugs are in your system, the feeling is pure euphoria. And when it wears off, the reality of life sets back in, and you crave that hit again. Opioid use disorder occurs when you have an overpowering drive to use opioids despite their risks. The main risk is building up a tolerance, causing you to take a higher quantity to the point where your body can't handle them, or getting to a point where you get such bad withdrawal symptoms that it physically pains you to try and stop.
I was going through lean withdrawals. Oh, that
Pull up LumaLabs.ai.
You run off bad when you stop doing that shit. That's crazy.
One of my favorite videos ever made regarding addiction is on YouTube titled Nuggets. You have the bird character thing and it's just wandering through life and it sees a golden nugget. The first time it walks past it but gets curious. The second time he runs into it, he bites on the curiosity and tries it. This gets him super high and he flies and it's amazing. And he lands and he continues through life, taking the nugget at every opportunity. He then gets to the point where he's actively running to find the next nugget. All the while he's taking them, the world around him when he's not on the high is starting to get darker. His body is starting to get weaker. And it gets to a point where he's no longer taking them to feel high. He's taking them so he can feel normal again, just to reach baseline. Eventually it consumes him too much, and by the end, he can't even muster up the energy to try the next one. This is very realistic for serious addiction. Our brains are amazing and complex, but also a bit too logical. They don't apply context. They only care about efficiency and survival. The basis of that is dopamine, something the brain wants a lot of and wants it without difficulty. There's an explanation of dopamine I heard from entrepreneur Alex Becker years ago that made it really easy to understand. Think of the dopamine system as zeros and ones. Zeros are the work and effort needed before getting the dopamine. Ones are the release of dopamine and how much gets released. So for example, let's say making this video, the weeks of research, the scripting, the editing, the thumbnail making 2 different versions for YouTube and Patreon, there's a lot of zeros. And the amount of ones might depend on how nice you guys are in the comments and how many views this video gets. But if I go on the PS5 and start playing a game and winning, the effort to go on the PS5 is barely any zeros. So let's say hypothetically the video flopped, it wouldn't have released a lot of ones. So the brain will essentially push me to keep playing video games and spend less time making videos. This is the case for a lot of people with social media, junk food, pornography, smoking, drinking. You know what's good for you and what's bad for you. You have the context that abstaining from these things is going to take you further in life, but your brain has no context and keeps trying to get you to pursue those things to get the easy hit of dopamine. So unless you implement discipline and adjust your environment so addiction is less accessible, it will do what it did to the bird. It will make normal life seem dark and depressing and keep you chasing those nuggets. So now imagine that, but on an even stronger level with Jared's opioid addiction.
Well, I feel like when people do drugs, it separates their head from their body even more, separates their soul from their body even more. Because your mind could be telling you, fuck no, your mind could be telling you, hell no. But your body is dependent. Tell you
It's
apart.
a battle between the mind and the flesh.
Yeah, exactly. It can tear you apart fucking with that shit.
So you couldn't function without it? I couldn't function without it. I had to drink lean every day. I had to pop pills. I had to do this shit to eat food. To I say a lot of times, I used to really be in rooms and I wasn't there because mentally my brain is somewhere else.
How do you do that knowing that it can kill you right away?
I feel like in today's society, the oxygen we breathe could kill us. It depends on your usage, bro. Some people could drink casually, sip casually all their lives and be perfectly okay. But you have those people that take it to the extreme.
We ain't thinking about the drugs we taking. We just taking them. We ain't thinking twice about that shit.
We coming up from nothing. There's some shit we done. We was doing back when we was fucked up and broke just to maintain.
It's crazy because a lot of people try to understand, but they don't go through it, so they don't get it. That going through that shit alone, man, you will be thinking shit you never thought you would have thought in your life. Going through shit like that alone make you want to kill yourself.
One way that Jared would later frame it in his lyrics was, I stopped taking the drugs and now the drugs take me. He went from someone who tried drugs because they were cool and wanted to feel a high to a point where the drugs became his master and demanded he take them multiple times a day. And it wasn't like it stayed oblivious to him. He was clearly aware he was getting addicted to drugs, but still couldn't stop himself. And the thing that became a double-edged sword was his newfound music success. So far, we've covered everything before he actually blew up with music, before he had millions of dollars, before he had unlimited access. And I believe his OUD was already underway and only got worse after his music career took off. Because when you add his success and money into the mix, it creates the issue of accessibility. Every addiction is harder to fuel when it's less accessible. So when the opposite occurs, it's like a fast track to disaster.
Before you started getting famous, though, you were probably limited on money and resources in terms of getting fucked up. And then all of a sudden, you got too much money.
It don't make it no better when you got money.
Right.
Yeah,
because you got access to it.
You got access to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going through pints and pints of lean and going through 100 pills a month. Like,
lean is pretty expensive. A popular streamer called Silky opened up about his lean addiction and said at his worst, he was spending $50,000 to $80,000 a month.
It was getting down to the point where I was spending like at least like, I'd say anywhere around like 50 to like 80K a month. What? Yes, bro. It was on lean? Yes, bro.
Rapper Lil Baby said that he was spending $4,000 to $5,000 a week.
I'm a drinker. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I drink like, you know what I'm saying?
Heavy?
Heavy, like heavy, like, probably spend like $4,000 to $5,000 a week on lean.
4,000 or 5,000 on lean.
Yeah.
So Jared, being in high school, would have been limited to how much he could satisfy his addiction. After graduating high school, he attempted working a job for 2 to 3 weeks at a car parts maker. Around the same time, June 15th, 2017, he released an EP on SoundCloud titled Juice WRLD 999.
Thank everybody who supported me, and y'all have a lot to look forward to because some great things are coming pretty fucking soon. I'm really hyped, I'm really stoked, and just really pumped up. I'm gonna get his music shit all like that and see where it gets me. So.
And this contained the legendary song Lucid Dreams, the song that would, over the next year, catapult him into worldwide stardom and become his biggest song to date. Only 9 months of releasing that EP, he was signing a $3 million deal with Interscope Records, and every radio show wanted his interview.
I got Juice WRLD in the building.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'?
What's going on, man?
Man, nothing much, bro.
There's a line you recently said too that impacted a lot of people. We're not gonna make it till 21. You don't feel that way, do you? Or do you honestly feel that way?
I feel like everybody dying young, you know what I'm saying? Not foreshadowing anything or wishing that upon myself.
Where are you at now when it comes to, either Xan popping, pill popping, whatever it may be? Where's Juice WRLD at now?
I mean, Xans are horrible. I think that's worse than crack.
In one of his interviews, clearly off drugs, slurring his words,
I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the rich. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission. Trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365, until I reach the heavens. Hey, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. I'm on a mission, 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens. Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission, grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners, I don't think they pay attention. Sticking to my vision, on the road to the riches. Every single day, I'm a hustler on a mission, trying to get 100 M's, nigga, I ain't kidding. mission 24/7, 365 until I reach the heavens.
We back. 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 It's a little cold in this bit. I don't know how much he even gave me. It don't even matter. This shit getting sold. I don't give a fuck. I know exactly who finna get this shit too. We back. We back. Huh. I'm beat. All right, what's going on? Let's continue.
He literally dozes off mid-interview.
It's some good stuff. It's not just fluff. It's like a lot. It sounds like a lot of heart gone into it. I want you to describe that single and that track that we're playing right now.
Wawa's $6 meal deal is back.
And we don't give a fuck about it. Who gives a fuck about a Wawa deal? I know I ain't never ate at that bitch.
Forms a complex web.
Never in my life have I ever even thought about it.
Him dozing off was due to those opioids in the system, giving him that high euphoric feeling, but because of the increasing amount he was taking, it was causing him to do things like this. When you correlate the timelines, this pre-existing but expensive addiction, newfound success, and then millions of dollars, I can only assume his consumption was increasing like crazy. He was also constantly on the move, for interviews, for recording, for traveling. He said he hadn't slept for days.
Popping. Oh, everything, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I've been sleeping like before that.
This is important because the hectic lifestyle would have stressed him out, but instead of feeling that stress and asking his team to slow down, he could just pop perks or sip lean and not have to feel it as much.
The whole mix, how everything hit him all at once. Because like once you start getting so much money, you can start doing so many things, and so many things start coming at you at one time. You feel me? So it's like, how do you even know how to control some shit like that?
But Juice wasn't just running from stress and work. I believe he was running from something much deeper.
Self-control. That shit is mind over matter.
Clinical depression, also known as major depressive disorder, is a mental health condition that causes a persistently low or depressed mood and a loss of interest in activities that once brought joy. Depression is a term that gets thrown around quite casually these days, but understand that feeling sad after a difficult life situation such as losing your job or breaking up with a partner or any unfortunate circumstance is normal. That isn't actual depression. Clinical depression persists practically every day and involves more symptoms than just sadness alone. Low energy and fatigue, feeling worthless, thoughts of death, amongst others. Researchers don't know the exact cause of clinical depression. They think that several factors contribute to its development, including genetics, brain chemistry, childhood experiences, and stressful life events. I feel like many people see depression as that person's life was hard and they experienced bad things, so they develop depression, when it's often more of a genetic thing. These people always look for a cause of the depression in others. This results in judgment, especially for celebrities. Why are they depressed? Their life is good. They have money and success. This can lead to a sense of embarrassment and questioning yourself, not understanding why you feel the way you do. One good listen through Juice WRLD's discography and you can hear how depressed he really was. I pop perks to numb the pain because it hurts to live. I gotta admit myself, I'm on these drugs, feel like I can't save myself. Sometimes I want to take myself and break myself so I can reshape myself. Nobody's ever felt the pain I felt. This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. My world revolves around a black hole, the same black hole that's in place of my soul. One of my favorites because of the weight behind it is, it's been months since I felt at home, but it's okay because I'm rich, psych, I'm still sad as a bitch, right? It goes against the assumption that money buys happiness in such a deflated but sarcastic way. It's like, don't worry guys, I should be super happy, right? After all, I do have lots of money and lots of success. My name is on billboards and I have so many fans, so much designer clothes, I can travel everywhere, I can buy any car I want, any piece of jewelry. Happiness should be a given. But then when he says psych, it's like realizing that that notion is all a facade. Money buys stability. It buys a sense of freedom from the frequent struggles of the working class, such as rent and bills and childcare, etc. It allows you to have experiences you might have not had without it, sure, but you can't buy a ticket to happiness. Not to get too spiritual on you guys because this is a psychology video, but happiness, in my opinion, comes from contentment. Contentment is essentially the ability to find peace regardless of your situation. You feel the same way internally whether you have something you desire or not. As soon as you try to place your happiness or peace on something external or materialistic, you lose the game and end up on a never-ending chase. When I'm rich, I'll be at peace. When I get my dream car, I'll be happy. These things are similar to beliefs that many people have, and even Jared seemingly misunderstood this. He didn't realize his depression was something internal and wasn't linked to his lack of success or any sort of poverty. In multiple interviews I've seen from him, he seems to look down on the idea of a 9-to-5 or working a job that doesn't pay well.
Sometimes people's lives, it could be for you looking at it from the outside, but they might have a great life. Like, just, I don't know, some people do feel like that.
A great life? Didn't regard the psychology video, but happiness, in my opinion, comes from contentment. Contentment is essentially the ability to find peace regardless of your situation. You feel the same way internally whether you have something you desire or not. As soon as you try to place your happiness or peace on something external or materialistic, you lose the game and end up on a never-ending chase. When I'm rich, I'll be at peace. When I get my dream car, I'll be happy. These things are similar to beliefs that many people have, and even Jared seemingly misunderstood this. He didn't realize his depression was something internal and wasn't linked to his lack of success or any sort of poverty. In multiple interviews I've seen from him, he seems to look down on the idea of a 9-to-5 or working a job that doesn't pay well.
Sometimes people's lives, it could be for you looking at it from the outside, but they might have a great life. Like, just, I don't know, some people do feel like that.
A great life.
He's saying they settle.
Yeah.
They probably even have
settle for less.
You know, but what if they have a great life at home, things are taken care of?
So they're just doing that shit for fun.
Not for fun, but what I'm saying, obviously they're doing it to make money.
Somebody that goes to like a D1 college, they spend all this money, right, to get a degree. They don't even do the shit that they got the degree for, and then they work in an office job every day until they die. He is in the abyss, or she is in the abyss.
In the Breakfast Club interview, Angela tries to let him know that although those people might not be millionaires, or although they might be working till they die, they could still be happy.
You know what?
Cool, bro.
Think about all these people we know who we look at from the outside, like, oh, they're rich, they're financially secure, they're great, and then they're really miserable. Because some people, money doesn't equal happiness at all.
Shit.
He seems to struggle to understand that people working for a minimum wage can still be at peace. They can have a family that loves them unconditionally, and that's all they need. And then on the other hand, there's many millionaires and celebrities that take their own lives due to depression. Robin Williams, Kurt Cobain, Avicii. I see Jared struggling to fathom this, and I believe that that's because it doesn't compute in his equation. He's grown up believing that his state of unhappiness and depression will disappear when he has money and success. So the idea that he's still sad as a millionaire and 9-to-5 workers on minimum wage are happy and at peace is a reality he doesn't want to accept. But in this song, it seems he's accepting that notion. He's going against that belief. His money only made his addiction worse and led to more sadness. So he's letting people know this. Such a short and simple line, but so much lesson behind it.
When you a fan of this shit, you look at it a certain way from a certain perspective, but then when you in this shit, you see it for what it really is. Right. You know? It's sad. I don't know, it makes you not want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not what it look like.
So when people try to understand why Juice was depressed, I don't even think he knew.
If y'all help me through the shit I go through, I'll deal with anxiety and depression and all that shit. Just because you got money don't mean that shit don't solve nothing. Money is the answer to certain problems, but it is not the answer to those type of problems.
Zaxby's just dropped a whole new line of dry rubs, and they're not playing around. Who's got the sauce?
Fentanyl hides in fake pills. A deadly dose of fentanyl is so small that you don't realize it's there until it's too late.
911, what's your emergency?
My daughter isn't breathing and she won't wake up. Can you hear me?
One pill can kill. Don't take the chance.
I'm not necessarily the most joyful person in the world, but that's one thing that does make me happy, making music.
He definitely had a substance abuse problem, and he definitely had like depression and stuff like that, and he would use drugs and not cope with things the right way, and use drugs to cope with things.
I don't personally believe Jared was suicidal, but he became indifferent to death, or indifferent to the idea of death. More like, if I die, it is what it is. He didn't have a desire to deliberately end his life, but he also didn't take any caution with his drug use as he lost the ability to comprehend death, in my opinion. The idea of withdrawal and having to confront depression without drugs seemed like a much harder task.
But let's keep it G, man. He was hustling, he was doing some street shit. Then he had some pounds on that bitch. Then buddy get caught with some pounds. Like 100 pounds or something.
Just closing your eyes and having no consciousness forever. What's also really interesting is that ADHD has a very strong correlation with depression. Roughly 30 to 50% of people with ADHD will develop a depressive disorder at some point in their life, compared to around 7 to 10% of the general population. This is due to a mix of genetic reasons, but also environmental reasons. They have a shared neurological basis, as both conditions involve dopamine and norepinephrine dysregulation. But also, children with ADHD constantly underperform relative to their actual intelligence. They struggle socially, get labeled as disruptive or lazy, and receive chronic negative feedback from teachers, parents, and peers. That sustained experience of falling short despite effort is a reliable pathway to depressive cognition, worthlessness, hopelessness, and self-blame. In my opinion, he most certainly experienced clinical depression. He had a sadness he couldn't quite explain and hoped either drugs or success could have fixed. I believe his ADHD was a massive driver for his depression. The neurological basis already makes it a strong possibility to develop depression without the need for explanation, but he also reports how he felt intelligent but couldn't focus in school, so he developed an identity of failure and I'm not good enough.
The first time I wrote a song was in 5th grade. It was during study hall. I couldn't just sit there and do my work, so I did something else.
And focus, like in school. He hated school. Very, very smart. But he didn't like the idea of school. So it was always a struggle with him in school and, skipping school.
School just a white man game and it ran good. All they try to do is teach you the bullshit to keep you the worker. Independent thinkers, like, nigga ain't giving a fuck about going to college doing that shit. I was ready to drop out of high school, I ain't gonna lie. Only reason I ain't drop out of high school and go do my shit how I wanted to. I graduated from my grandma, right? My mama too. Mainly my grandma, and because I ain't want to be the first nigga, the first male like the family to not graduate. Now that I think about it though, I should have did that shit. I could have the first nigga to not graduate, the first nigga with a couple million too. You gotta pick your battles, pick your wins and your losses. But you know what I'm saying? I ain't want to have that on my rookie. I couldn't go out like that. Especially when you be talking shit to your cousins and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit was really easy. All you gotta do is show up. But, you know, niggas who don't want to show up, what I'm coming here for? Like, to understand my pain, you gotta understand, like, I was supposed to be in advanced classes, right? I was supposed to have advanced math classes when I got to high school. And somewhere around the line, they fucked my shit up. Fucked around, put me in a slow math class with teaching me shit I already knew, right? I ain't do no homework. I passed that bitch with a B. No, I passed that bitch with an A still. I still had an A. I ain't do no homework. I did no homework, bro. I still passed that bitch with an A, 92. And I remember I was just doing some bullshit in the back of the class. Like every class, I was sitting in the front because I couldn't see shit. But I was in the back of the class, and I'd just be doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And the teacher, I guess he thought I was stupid or something. He thought I was supposed to be in that class. So I was trying to tell him I ain't supposed to be in here. They called me all types of nerds and shit. I was like, I'm a nerd because y'all slow. I'm a nerd because y'all understand math. I understand numbers real good. Hey, number shit easy to me. Shit just come natural to some people. Others not so much. Nigga called me to the board to answer some questions one time. I'm like, oh yeah, all right. I sat my ass down. He said, oh, okay, you really know this shit. All right, I see. I ain't gonna mess with you no more. Shout out Mr. Table, man. I remember that nigga. He like, oh, okay, you really know your shit, huh? All right. I can't really fuck with you. Like, I can't do you like I do these niggas here. I already see how like, all right. Like, you not the one. I understand. All right. They mixed up your papers. Fucking right, they mixed up that shit. I don't know why they tried me with this shit, but I take the easy motherfucking A this 2 semesters. Give a fuck about that shit. Like, what am I tripping? They really made that shit easy for me. I real deal used to be skipping that man class and he ain't never say shit about it. Nigga ain't say shit about it. But that's the only work I did with class work. I didn't do no homework. Passed every test with an A. But that just brings me back to the original shit. School just a white man game and it ran good. Because they really wanted to breed successful community and not slaves. They would teach niggas financial literacy and teach niggas to the real true way to gain wealth. It'd be classes on banks. It'd be Capital 101 and shit. For real. It'd be capital classes 1, 2, and 3 and some shit. I don't give a fuck about that shit. It'd be trust It'll be trust course A or some shit. Yeah, have trust courses. You'll have a whole fucking semester you fuck with bank classes. To understand money and financial literacy. It should have been a financial literacy subject. If they really wanted to motherfucking bring some
skipping classes, so I always had to have a plan for him.
I think in high school I wasn't eligible for some shit when it came to tryouts.
About the grades?
Yeah. I always tested high, very intelligent person, but I wasn't one of them motherfuckers that could just sit in the classroom and just focus on the teacher talking to me. I couldn't do that.
This was accelerated by his opioid use. He may have used it out of intrigue or self-medication, but once it started messing with his dopamine reward pathway, it started to bridge a gap between Jared being good and Jared being depressed. The more drugs he took, the more depressed he became without them, so the more he felt like he needed them, and that cycle continued. Just like the bird, his world got darker and darker. The worst part is that everyone saw his success and looked past the seriousness of his issues.
Bro, so like nobody heard this song and like wanted to talk to him or something? Like, how do you hear this and be like, yo, this shit fire, bro? When the album dropping? It's like, yo, are you okay, man? Like, hold on. Just stop for a second. Let's just take a break. Let's just go somewhere.
Juice actually acknowledged this in his music, pointing out how it's a mix of both him downplaying his issues, but also people not noticing. This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry.
It's like, I got a story about somebody that killed themselves, right? I didn't know him personally, but one of my old partners knew him and shit, right? And this shit affected him severely because this was like his neighbor, but he had got close with him, like whatever, you feel me? They got cool and shit. Nigga killed himself, hung himself and some shit, right? And the nigga was $1 million now. The nigga had millions on dollars. And I used to just talk to my partner like, bro, like, what? I was like, man, he couldn't have been my partner, bro. Not with $1 million. He talk about killing himself. Look, bro, you really want to kill yourself? Look, let's go enjoy ourselves with $100,000. And let's just see if you still want to goddamn do this shit more. Or if you want to try to enjoy your life some more before you actually think about doing that bullshit. I could give you a change of heart. I don't know exactly what's going on with you, why you feel that way. But I say, to stop you from doing that, let's take $100,000, let's go hang out. I'm gonna show you to help you enjoy your life with your money and not make a rash decision. Like, I don't know what it is. Is it the money? Because we can invest this, we could make a quick flip too. You know what I'm saying? Legitimately, and I could show you. So I ain't got the shit to do it. You got the liquid. If you got liquid 100 bands, you can make some shit pop right quick. We can have some fun, my boy. Ain't no reason, boy. Look, enjoy your life, enjoy your money. If you ain't got nobody to leave that shit to, leave it to me. Nah, no bullshit, bro. Your life is personal. You got people out there that love you and shit. Don't do no fuck shit like that, bro. But on some real shit though, bro. Cause that shit happen to people all the time, bro. Donate your shit to a good cause then or something. If you gonna sacrifice yourself like that and you really feel like, fuck the game, I'm tired of it. I understand it, bro. I get it. Maybe that's my problem. I understand it. I understand everything. I could really see the side of this shit. But nah, bro, don't do that shit. There's always a different and better option. The whole point is you gotta die anyway eventually. Why are you trying to hurry up? Why are you trying to do it? Why are you trying to do it faster? Are you mad that you can't live forever? So you just, that's what I be telling, like, some people like, would it be sad that they can't live forever? They know it's inevitable, so they just want to get it out the way. Like, if you could live forever, would you not kill yourself? You know, you got so much other shit out there trying to kill you. You got cancer. You got wars. You got the government. You got pandemics. You got lab created diseases. If you're a nigga, you got the police. You got Karens. Like, you got the Ku Klux Klan. And all that other shit too. You got your own kind. My point is, you got so much other things trying to kill you. Look at it. I like to look at it the other way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna survive all this shit. It's gonna kill me. I'm gonna beat the game. Try to beat the game. Because all this shit is temporary anyway. All of it's temporary, man. See how this shit play out, man. You feel me? See how this shit play out. Shit, see how long LeBron gonna play fucking basketball. See if he gonna end up playing basketball with both his sons on the same team. For real, man. I'm trying to see that shit. I'm trying to see how long this nigga look like he gonna play for another 5 years. Man, I ain't gonna bullshit, bro. LeBron, the way that boy playing, the boy definitely like he can play another 5 years if he wanted to. He could come off the bench. Let his sons be the starters. Because you see Bronny developing, right? Once he get in the bag, he earned a spot as a starter. Don't let his son come out of college as a prospect. Alright. Just might start them boys on the stretch. Start all three of them. Fuck it. Start all three of them. Put LeBron at the 4. Bryce at the... Nah, shit, you can put Bron at the 3. You still keep Bron at the 3, Bryce at the 2, Bronny at the 1. My whole point is just see how this shit play out. There's so much other shit going. See how the war gonna turn. See how the crypto gonna climb. You know what I'm saying? See how the currency gonna change. See how the world progress. Until it's your actual time to go. You got so much other shit out here killing you. Your habits, your choices, your eating habits, your extracurricular habits, drinking habits, drug habits. You got diseases out here. Man, look, there's so much shit out here trying to kill a nigga, bro. Just try to beat the game. You don't know if a nigga had a disease, though. Nigga probably be out here like that. Well, shit, nigga. See how long you can last with that shit. Just don't go around spreading that bullshit. If you feel like you're gonna be spreading that shit, I feel you. Go ahead. I ain't even mad if you, hey, maybe you want to take that to the grave. You feel like, fuck it, you done fucked up. Game over for you. You can't live how you want to live. All right, my boy. That's why I say I get it. I understand, boy. I understand, boy. There's like certain shit that happen, like certain niggas can't live with, bro. It's like, I'm not even gonna talk about that. Cause I don't even like talk about shit and put that shit in the atmosphere like that. Keep that shit away from me. That shit out my element. I stay in my bubble, secure. Feel me? Protect me from all evil. No bullshit. But try to beat the game. You did. There's so much shit out here trying to kill a nigga. Beating the game is you going out like my grandma did at like 96. You feel me? With her kids, her grandchildren, her great grandchildren. You feel me? Around her. She had great great grandchildren around her. You feel me? That's how you want to go out when you live. You want to try to beat the game, man. Don't take yourself out. You got too much going on out here. Life too short anyway. That's the whole object of this shit. There's so much shit trying to kill us out here anyway. So why you want to take yourself out? You know what I'm saying? Got people out here love you and shit, man. Man, I guarantee you go talk to somebody about that shit, you won't feel something. Live a little bit longer, man. Shit change up. That's what this shit about. Shit about change, bro. Shit don't stay the same forever, man. You can be fucked up right now. You know what I mean? You're gonna be fucked up in a week, next month. Nigga, a whole lot could change in 2-3 months. You feel me? Just stay focused, stay dedicated, stay disciplined to that shit. You feel me? And keep that shit lit. We in a lit house. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. Keep the light within you shining bright. You feel me? Fuck that shade. Get paid. And that's every single day. Hustlers on a mission every day, man.
This is the part where I take all my feelings and hide them because I don't want nobody to hurt me. They tell me they care. They're just in love with the music, so they'll never know about the pain I go through. Everyone is happy to sit around listening to him talking about depressing subjects as long as it sounds good. He needed real accountability and people campaigning to put down the drugs rather than monetizing it. But this is due to a lack of education around these subjects. Everyone is happy to get surface level around topics like anxiety and depression, but going deeper is something only a certain few do. I think YouTuber Sean C put it best.
Why is it that people are so drawn to 3 and 4 minute songs about depression and love and mental stress and anxiety, but aren't drawn towards, think pieces about the subject and aren't drawn towards deep dives into what these things actually mean and how they can affect you?
There did eventually become a point where people around him did try to step in, but it might have.
Because a lot of people just feel it the same way. People not doing deep dives and think about the shit when they going through shit. They resonating with the feeling. That's what the music is. The music just generating the feeling. So that's what they're resonating with it. They're not thinking about it. Now when you're doing that analysis of it, then you can think about it. But at that moment, you just listening, you enjoying it, you know what I'm saying? You might feel it the same way, like, damn, this nigga feel like me. Damn, I feel just like it. Fuck, I'm not alone.
It's been too late.
You feel that? It resonates. Shit.
Bob told us that they were going to test the...
That's all that shit is, man.
Okay, and the Billboard Music Award goes to Juice WRLD.
Excuse me.
Wow. It's crazy all the stuff that could happen in a year.
Juice WRLD in 2019 was a global.
It's crazy all the stuff that could happen in a year, man. You hear that? It's crazy all the stuff that shit could change. I'm telling you.
Star. In March, he released his album Death Race for Love. Despite mixed reviews from critics, the album was commercially as successful as it could have been, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200. During this time, he'd been in a relationship with Ali Lottie. She was about 6 years older than Jared, and he was super in love with her during their time together. So much so that he vowed to stop taking lean for her as she was concerned. Bae, I'm sorry I be tweaking. You've put up with more than people know. I know I be scaring you. Fuck codeine. I'm done. I love you and I'm letting it be known publicly. That shit ain't fucking up the real love I found. Learn from this, everyone. Addiction kills all, but you can overcome. This was backed up by his videographer and assistant Chris Long, who said Ali banned lean from the house.
But after a while, his girlfriend really wanted him to stop. And it's like, it's good if she was like bringing the hammer down on that, like, I don't want him doing lean at all. And like, she didn't want him like mixing the drugs. That was the problem. So the consumption of lean went down a lot.
It's not allowed anymore in the house or anything, so
She looking
that's
out
the reason
for
why.
him. She's real caring. That's what you need. You need some shit like that around you. That structure. You feel me? Some niggas need that shit.
But despite the public claims and declaration of love, quitting an addiction that strong isn't so simple. Willpower alone almost never prevails.
So Ali was pretty strict about that. But of course he would still do it and he would hide it. And when he did get it, he would always be like, go pour me up this. You know what I mean? Go take it up. And we'd have to hide it in something. We'd always asleep and stuff.
At the peak of his success.
And when people get on drugs, like kids get prescribed medication, they end up taking medication at a young age. They're more susceptible to addiction as adults versus like somebody starting to get high when they're 25 and shit. It's easier for them to cut that shit out and quit that shit whenever they want to, you feel me? Because they wasn't getting high when they were young already. You know what I'm saying? They had a chance to develop and grow into their adulthood.
Says he was seemingly at the peak of his addiction also. Now, if you're on the YouTube version of this video, this chapter is going to be a bit shorter than what's on Patreon. That's because I want to show you the reality of what his addiction looked like in its final stages. The footage, the graphic reality, his friends' accounts, the actual scale of what he was consuming daily, and what that meant was happening inside. I think you need to see it to truly understand how we got to December 8th. But that content will get this video
I don't know if that was the real list.
list.
Cause you know some of these videos, I don't know if that was the real list, but a lot of this shit, man, like real shit for them. Like, goddamn, was that the real list? Cause they showed that bitch a couple times, like that's the real list.
Graphic reality, his friends' accounts, the actual scale of what he was consuming daily.
I don't know, boy, that the real list. It said free though. Codeine free. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's just a list of drugs. But that's a positive. But it got them blurred up.
What that meant was happening inside. I think you need to see it to truly understand how we got to December 8th. But that content will get this video restricted, which means a lot of people who will need to hear the story simply won't find it. So on YouTube, I'm going to do my best to give you the full picture without the visuals and without the full explanation. If you want the uncut version, the Patreon link is in the description. But if not, here's what you do need to know. Jared's drug consumption got so bad, his closest members had to do an intervention and book him into rehab.
And Pete pulled him aside, kind of did the same thing, pulled him in a room and talked to him. And that's when it was decided that, like, you're going to go to rehab.
Rehab had to be booked in because he was simply consuming an amount that went from he should stop taking drugs because they aren't good for him to if he doesn't stop and go to rehab, he won't see another year. When addiction gets to a serious level, you consume or indulge purely out of automation rather than the genuine desire to do so. From the evidence I've seen, Jared genuinely got to the point where he was consuming a large amount on autopilot. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, opioids actually have a relatively low euphoric ceiling, meaning that taking a lot doesn't actually give you a bigger high. It just means more side effects and more risk. But because of his super high tolerance, he had to consume that much just to get the same feeling he did taking one back in the day. And of course, the body is only able to handle so much. Jared knew the dangers of what he was doing. He wasn't oblivious. In his song Righteous, he says, "We may die this evening, coughing, wheezing, bleeding." In many of his interviews, he made it clear that he knows these drugs are deadly, just like Future did in his music by acknowledging those who passed away from opioid-related issues. But he was simply too far gone. Rehab was the only option, and as mentioned, it was booked in for the latter half of December. Fellow Chicago rapper G Herbo details what rehab is like when addicted to opioids.
It was like a 7-8 day process. You get out, they flush out everything out your system. You on IV, so you don't got to go through the withdrawals. That's another thing. Like when you drink lean and popping pills and perks and all that shit. The withdrawals worse than it's worse than anything in the world. You don't even want to feel it.
Carmela claimed his consumption had gone down and believed he'd actually stopped lean entirely.
You said that before his passing, he told you that he made the decision to get professional help.
They were trying to
He
do that
did.
shit without
Was he ready to go to
rehab,
rehab?
He sounded like it. He wasn't doing the lean anymore. I could tell it was a difference in him, that he wasn't doing the lean. I think he was still doing pills, but he told me he was ready to get help.
But the reality is, he wasn't well and still needed his drugs to cope. In November, he tweeted, "My brain is my own worst nightmare. It could be the death of me easily if I didn't somewhat know my way around it." On the 7th of December, according to Chris Long, he did consume a large amount and was continuing to consume throughout the day. In the early hours of the next day, Jared and his crew were landing after flying from LA to Chicago to celebrate his 21st birthday, which was a few days prior. But as they got closer, when their phones regained service, they got a message from the head of security to say that police were waiting for them in the lobby for when they land. The crew had guns and drugs on them, which would have landed them in big trouble, but the stories get a bit blended here. There's a lot of speculation that Jared panicked and consumed his pills to avoid getting caught with them. Chris Long, who was there, says that this isn't true, and he was actually quite nonchalant about the whole situation.
Someone else held a duffel bag and had all, like, he knew he wasn't going to get in trouble. He had people around him that were going to take care of. And his manager, G Money, walks up to him. They're both just like, "We're all good." Like, yeah, everything, like high five each other. Like, "Don't worry, we're all good. Everything's gonna be cool."
But regardless, there were an enormous amount of opioid in Jared's system at the time, and he would end up having a seizure. This wasn't an overdose. There was physically just so much in his system for so long that his body couldn't process it. Instead of thinking of it as a there and then overdose, think of it as an overdose over time. Something that was building and building and needed to be stopped.
I couldn't look away.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't want him to, like, look up and not think we were there. So, and when I looked out in the eyes, it's like you could see that he wasn't there.
And at around 3:14 a.m., Jared Higgins would be pronounced dead 14 days before his rehab date.
Just, handcuffed to the fucking wall, and just two detectives just walked in. And they're like, literally verbatim, they're like, "We don't give a shit about anything else. We just want to know about the kid that died." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Who died?"
That is so heartless.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who was named Billboard's Best New Artist this year suffered a medical...
About the kid that died. And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Who died?"
That is so heartless.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who was named...
That is so heartless.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who was named Billboard's Best New Artist this year suffered a medical emergency at Chicago's Midway Airport this morning. So many... WRLD.
Literally verbatim.
14 days before his rehab date.
Just, handcuffed to the fucking wall, and just two detectives just walked in. They're like, literally verbatim, they're like, "We don't give a shit about anything else. We just want to know about the kid that died." And I was like, what? I'm like, who died?
That is so heartless.
And turn to the sudden and shocking death of rap star Juice WRLD. The 21-year-old who's named Billboard's Best New Artist this year suffered a medical emergency at Chicago's Midway Airport.
This morning, so many questions as to how a seemingly healthy 21-year-old could die so unexpectedly.
Where am I at? I'm in paradise. I'm actually FaceTiming, not FaceTiming, I'm slow. I'm on Instagram Live from heaven. Huh.
I don't think Jared wanted this outcome. Like I said, I don't think he literally considered ending his own life, but I do think he became indifferent with the idea of death. He wasn't going to press the button, but if coincidentally it ended, that prospect didn't fear him. He was so low, but still willing to go through the motions as long as he had his drugs and his high, which wasn't even really a high anymore, just an attempt at reaching his old baseline. The reality is, Jared didn't die for one reason. It was the genetic predisposition to ADHD and potentially depression, mixed with the wrong influence, mixed with addiction, mixed with fame and money. A powerful train on its way to death, and would have taken a huge effort for him to turn things around. This one was a tough one to make, and I appreciate you taking out the time to watch this. And if anything, I hope there were some valuable lessons scattered around some.
They didn't say nothing about what he got caught with, though. Or what was on that plane. I think it was 100 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm getting that confused. Somebody. $70.
It turned into almost like a game. Like, I'm going to prove to them that I'm not drinking.
The pilot told, I already know who told.
Let's talk about it, folks. Now, welcome to the channel.
It was the pilot that told.
If you guys are new, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.
That's the only,
Turn on
person that
notifications
could have
so I can keep you
told
guys
the
updated.
pilot.
Now, usually I do the intro to my videos, but you know, this is one of those situations where, listen, a man just died. I can't be on there like all excited. We got to talk about this. Like, listen, he just died. This is a very sad situation. We lost a young legend, someone that was going to continue to shape music as we know it. He was only 21 years old. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. Now, the reason I say you guys definitely want to stay updated with this situation is because it's getting crazy, folks. It's getting crazy. And I'm going to do my best to update you guys anytime there is news on this situation, but let's dive into it. As you guys know, Juice WRLD died of a seizure yesterday. A lot of us woke up to the horrible news of that situation. Maybe you were awakened by your brother. Maybe you were awakened by your cousin, your friend, letting you know the horrible news because this happened very early in the morning, okay? I woke up in shock. Couldn't believe this because we've lost so many young legends before. Juice WRLD was definitely a young legend in the making, and it's sad to see that he's gone. Now, the smoke is starting to clear, right? More information is coming out. This is the second day of the situation. It's being reported right now. And this was a shocker to me. It's being reported right now, that federal agents, if you guys don't know what those are, that's the FBI, okay? Federal agents and Chicago police confiscated drugs, guns from the luggage of Juice WRLD when he had a seizure on Monday. Now, it doesn't just stop there because get this, folks. Amongst the drugs that they found, it was 70 pounds of marijuana. Now, listen, look, I know rappers like to smoke, but 70 pounds seem a little excessive. It's telling me that, okay, maybe you like to buy your stuff in bulk, but other people are going to lead to maybe someone or you may be running a criminal organization when you got 70 pounds of weed and you're taking it through the airport. Now, keep in mind, this was in Chicago. Like, listen, I know a lot of stuff go through Chicago, but 70 pounds, that can't be legal, folks, and it's definitely not. Now, here's more information, okay? It's being reported that the officers and agents have been waiting at the Atlantic hangar in Midway earlier Sunday because they suspected the private plane from Los Angeles carrying Juice WRLD was carrying contraband. So they were watching him, okay? So when the FBI came and scooped all this up, this made this whole situation a federal case. And sadly, in this situation, somebody is most likely going to jail because they're going to try to pin this on somebody. You can't just make 70 pounds of freaking weed evaporate. I mean, listen, they ain't Snoop Dogg. This 70 pounds of weed just ain't going to evaporate from the FBI headquarters. Somebody's going to go down for this. And a good thing that comes from this will be the fact that the FBI will most likely be investigating Juice WRLD's death. Now, there's a lot of speculation here, right? And I don't want to get into that too much, but I will say this right here, right? Now, I don't want to speculate in this situation, but
Rest in peace, Juice WRLD, man. They got some shit called Surviving Bird, man, that they dropped 8 months ago, and this bitch got 1.6 million views. Boy, y'all some cold motherfuckers, boy. Y'all some cold motherfuckers, dog. Y'all some cold individuals, cuz I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all cold as hell, boy. Y'all cold. Y'all some cold motherfuckers, boy. Y'all made me click on that bitch just to see why that bitch got some of the views. They cold, boy. They cold.
Smell like royalty all day. Wash, protect, and finish with Cremo.
Anyway, also Nicki Minaj is not came out. Usually she blasts rumors and lies. She calls people out. She's pretty like transparent, or at least like vocal about when things come out that about her that she feels is part of the Nicki hate train, and she hasn't said anything. Now she hasn't said anything in 2 days on Twitter, but she hasn't said anything in particular about the rumor that came out pretty much yesterday, which is not her style. So we'll see if in the coming days she actually responds to it. But right now,
said not her style. She usually is gonna say something. She gonna say something.
Oh shit! Why is we still got the Meek Mill fucking order up there? Okay, we went over the Jay-Z interview. What did you guys think about it? We want to give a big salute to Nas. Nas was at the Resorts World Casino opening in grand opening in New York, and this was him. He rolled dice with some Asian niggas, and yes, Nas, who helped secure the bid for one of those casino licenses, we're now realizing that he is going to be the beneficiary. We're not too sure exactly what his role is going to be with this casino, but I could imagine it's going to be very lucrative for him. Check it out. I don't know why this looks like what's the name of that? Him and Jay-Z have a song together, and I think this is it Black Republican? They did a video for it. I remember that scene right there. Let's see. Black Republican, Nas and Jay. Yeah, I think. Wasn't there a video? Unless I'm tripping. Okay, maybe I am tripping then. Thought there was a video with him and Jay, and they're both at like the casino shit.
I don't know about that.
There's a video?
I don't know about that. They got a video together? Nas and Jay-Z?
When we was a good thing.
All right, no, that ain't it. Anyway.
No, he tripping.
This just eerily reminds me of something else where he's at a casino thing.
That should remind me of Rush Hour.
Oh, it's Rock Boys?
That should remind me of Rush Hour.
No, but that's just Jay. Rock Boys, Jay-Z.
That should remind me of Rush Hour. I don't know, maybe because the Asian man.
We want to
No, there's a Nas video where I seen. I can't remember. This is a Rock Boys, but
that's a Nas video when he in that pink suit. That was the one he's talking about. We talking about Nas at that pink suit.
But it was at like one of those that table. What is that? Is that a craps table?
We talking about Nas had that pink suit on. I know what video we talking about. It got to be that one. I don't remember the song, but when Nas had that pink suit. Was it Nostradamus?
It's the God did video. Nah, it was old. It was
It's
old.
an old video, man. I know what you talking about because they ain't had one together. It
God
definitely
did
went
video.
together.
No, it was Nas, not Jay. Like I keep saying Jay. Like that was all right. I don't care that much. Whatever. Okay. All right. So anyway, congratulations to Nas, man. Huge step for Nas. Again, that was one of the few times I think Jay-Z's cultural face card got declined. And the person who won the bid for the company they were representing was Nas. I want to give you a little bit of background. Nas casino bid. I want to give you a little bit of background on what this means. Okay. By the way, I think this is from today.
I'm Contessa Brewer at CNBC. I've done a lot of reporting from a lot of casinos, but never from a casino in New York City. And that's because before today, there was never craps in New York City. This is the first time live table games have ever been offered legally in the Big Apple. And boy, is there a crowd. Star-studded event for Resorts World New York City as they win one of the 3 licenses for the Big Apple. And they're the first to open. When I say star-studded, now
I gotta imagine Nas helping him win that claim got to be worth $100 million or more to them. They're gonna give him some lucrative position. They're gonna like, if he has a vodka or like, you know, well, he has, yeah, I think he has a position with Hennessy. They're gonna do so much different things with Nas. Nas is gonna have the same role that Jay-Z has with the NFL there. And you know, Jay wanted to have it because, you know, Jay wanted to do everything, but Nas fucking did it.
Nas was here, Queens boy, and I got to talk to him about what he and I have in common.
It means everything, like you said. This is the home. This is where I'm from, Queens. So to see this really happen is like, it's kind of.
They do say Queens get the money. That's the saying. Queens get the money, and this is a casino, so Queens is getting that money.
It's surreal, you know, because in my music I talk about casino stuff. So to see this happen is right.
What's your game?
Roulette.
Mine too. What's your philosophy of play?
I really don't.
Nas still look pretty young, man, right?
Don't have one.
How old is Nas? Is he 50? How old is Nas? Nas is 52. No signs of gray hair.
Philosophy is some people have certain numbers they like more than others, and you know, you bet on black or bet on red, or it's all about a feeling, the feeling that I get that evening.
That's how I play too. I mean, I'm very much an intuition player, and I never play.
You have to be quite the go-getter when you're running your own business. Doesn't hurt if you have the Google Fi phone plan too. I get an enhanced connection that's just as reliable, even.
That's a good tip.
It works for me. Also, I know when to walk away.
That's the most important. Gamble responsibly, for sure.
I'm Contessa.
All right. So now.
So to see this happen is right.
What's your game?
God did video. No, it was Nas, not Jay. Like I keep saying Jay. Like now it was. All right, I don't care that much. Whatever. Okay. All right. So anyway, congratulations to Nas, man. Huge step for Nas. Again, that was one of the few times I think Jay-Z's cultural face card got declined. And the person who won the bid for the company they were representing was Nas. I want to give you a little bit of background. Nas casino bid. I want to give you a little bit of background on what this means. Okay. By the way, I think this is from today.
I'm Contessa Brewer at CNBC. I've done a lot of reporting from a lot of casinos, but never from a casino in New York City. And that's because before today, there was never craps in New York City. This is the first time live table games have ever been offered legally in the Big Apple. And boy, is there a crowd. Star-studded event for Resorts World New York City as they win one of the 3 licenses for the Big Apple. And they're the first to open. When I say star-studded. Now
I got to imagine Nas helping him win that claim got to be worth $100 million or more to them. They're going to give him some lucrative position. They're going to like, if he has a vodka or like, you know, well, he has, yeah, I think he has a position with Hennessy. They're going to do so much different things with Nas. Nas is going to have the same role that Jay-Z has with the NFL there. And, you know, Jay wanted to have it because, you know, Jay wanted to do everything, but Nas fucking did it.
Nas was here, Queens boy, and I got to talk to him about what he and I have in common.
It means everything, like you said. This is the home. This is where I'm from, Queens. So
Nas won this one.
It's like, it's kind of.
They do say Queens get the money. That's the saying. Queens get the money, and this is a casino, so Queens is getting that money.
That's surreal, you know, because in my music I talk about casino stuff. So to see this happen is right.
What's your game?
Roulette.
Mine too. What's your philosophy of play?
I really don't.
Nas still a pretty young man, right?
Don't have one.
How old is Nas? Is he 50? How old is Nas?
56.
Nas is 52. No signs of gray hair.
Philosophy is some people have certain numbers they like more than others, and you know, you bet on black or bet on red, or it's all about a feeling that I get that evening.
That's how I play too. I mean, I'm very much an intuition player, and I never play the inside unless I flash on a specific number.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It works for me. Also, I know when to walk away.
That's the most important. Gamble responsibly, for sure.
I'm contested.
All right. So Nas is getting that big dub for New York City.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Drop on the clues bombs.
That's amazing. That's really, really big. Because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same. Well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas
big
from
business, man.
Queensbridge and Jay from Marcy, and
Come on, man.
what they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas.
But Nas won.
Future is not something you wait for. It's
Why he had to throw Jay in there though? Jay ain't winning. They already talked about Jay shit getting shut down. So why the fuck they want to bring up Jay-Z shit with Nas? They bring up Nas shit because they ain't know shit about Nas shit. But they made a bid on the same day, so they had a way to figure out the knowledge of it. But they ain't give a fuck about it. Man, fuck.
something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand sure. Once imagined.
We be letting you know.
After he had won the bid, he had trolled Jay-Z.
I know he did.
For big.
I don't know if y'all remember this. Look, he trolled Jay-Z like this. Look.
Has been approved.
Brooklyn Borough president, no.
Oh, actually, it wasn't Nas that trolled Jay-Z. It was like the community board that approved it.
In my regards to him. With that being said, I vote aye.
This is not only amazing.
Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in. You can let the Brooklyn Borough president know that I send my regards to him. With that being said, I vote aye.
Oh, shit.
I'm a Queens native, so you already know this means everything to me to be a part of this. And if you're from this borough, you already know what it is. Nothing but love to you, man. Resorts World, we open.
Interesting. Okay. Very interesting.
Tape was.
Now, one of the reasons why Nas got it instead of Jay was trying to bring it, I believe, on behalf of Caesars, but he was trying to bring it to Times Square. Again, it wasn't a suitable. People felt like it was going to change the environment of Times Square once they brought gambling in the middle of the heart of the biggest city in the world. And the community board actually agreed, and they did not want gambling there. So they turned that down.
That shit would have
Jay-Z
fucked up
gave
Times
many
Square,
speeches.
boy.
He had people that came on his behalf.
That
They
shit
gave
would
speeches as
fuck
well.
Times
The Fat Joes of the
Square
world,
up.
Charlamagne the Gods, but they said no. And Nas, who kind of lobbied with Resorts World for it to be open up in Queens, they actually said yes.
I ain't never even been to Times Square, but I know that would have fucked Times Square.
All right, we'll see what's going on.
Times Square already.
All good.
You put one, you
Congrats,
got to
Nas, man.
put.
Congrats, Nas.
You can't just put one there. You got to put two.
Okay, give me 1 second. All right.
That bitch gonna have to be big as for two of them.
Oh, I wanted to play the Stephen A. Smith shit.
See though.
Oh, look at my baby Ice Spizzle. Oh shit. Ice Spice posted some new pics for the gram and breast. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think you can find no jerkins within 10 miles of me, bro. Can't even cap with you. Ice Spizzle posted some new pictures, and goddamn, Ice Spice only get found with time, bro. Now she posted some pictures, and she right, man. She thicker than a bowl of oats. Holy. Like Ice Spice looking so good, you just gotta sop her up with a biscuit. Shit is crazy. Like I'm still disgusted that she had to actually squabble with some scallywags. But yeah, these are the new Ice Spice pics, fresh out of the Bronx. You know what I mean?
Listen, bro. I got y'all remember Pinky? She was eating at McDonald's. The last time we seen Ice Spice, she was in an altercation. She was sitting down eating in McDonald's. I mean, she thick now. Don't get me wrong. She was thick before. I want to go back. I want to go back to the pictures. I want to go back to this picture right here. I want to go back to this. Now I want you to look at the smoothness. She need to tone a little bit. All she need to do is tone it up a little more. She good. She ain't doing. She been lazy. I could tell when the bitch been lazy. I could tell. The bitch been lazy.
With you, Ice Fizzle posted some new pictures, and goddamn, Ice Spice only get finer with time, bro. Now she posted some pictures, and she right, man. She thicker than a bowl of oats. Holy. Like Ice Spice looking so good, you just gotta sop her up with a biscuit. Shit is crazy. Like I'm still disgusted that she had to actually squabble with some scallywags. But yeah, these are the new Ice Spice pics, fresh out of the Bronx. You know what I mean? This is non-GMO chopped cheese.
Maybe it's the Patty Select shit too, because you can see. But it's neither here nor there.
This is great. Ice Spice looking better than ever. Ice Spice might be the baddest in the game. I can't be happy with you. Baddest in the fucking game. This is after she beat a chick's ass. Oh, she even put the location, Houston. Holy. All right, Ice Spice. I realized Ice Spice is on Ice Spice is on, like, there's a Nickelodeon movie, SpongeBob. Ice Spice got a fire song on there. She got a fire song, low-key. And I didn't know it was that big. But apparently, like, all the little kids that like SpongeBob like Ice Spice. Which I'm like, wait. Oh, y'all know Ice Spice.
I'm finna end this bitch. All the young kids like Spice. Not bad, but till next time, keep it lit. We in the lit house, whatever you do. Keep the light within you shining bright, you feel me? Fuck that shit, you get paid, and that's every single motherfucking day. We hustlers on a mission every day. Whatever you do, create a positive impact today and later, and do that shit. Capital. I am capital. And I see y'all next time. Y'all see me next time. However it be. Keep that shit G. And that's to you.
Baby, I'm a hustler on a mission. Grinding for that spot, a brand new pot to piss in. Trying to school my partners home, baby, they pay